Hello, Durud and Shalom. We are live. And Monkey, usually I ask you, how are you feeling today? But today I'm going to tell you that today is a horrible day because the three people that we mentioned yesterday that were about to get executed got executed. So this is them. Just hours ago, they were executed by the Islamic Republic, and the execution was public. There was a crowd of Iranian people there. This was in Isfahan. They were trying to stop it. So two of them were executed, I think, but two of them has been confirmed. Let me read the story.
They seem very young.
Yeah, they are. So here, the execution of two more protesters early Tuesday drew an outpouring of grief, anger, and defiance from Iranians, many of whom said the hangings had strengthened rather than weakened their resolve to oppose the Islamic Republic. People from Isfahan and cities across the country described staying awake through the night, hoping the executions would be halted, mourning the two men after dawn, and praising those who gathered despite a heavy security presence around the execution site. Amir Hossein Safari and Abul Fazl Sepahi were among 12 young men sentenced to death in what became known as the Ali Khani Square case, stemming from clashes during nationwide protests in Isfahan on January 8th. So these are the two who have been executed. I do have a video about what happened. So this just happened last night.
This doesn't show the how, right?
No.
Okay.
It was a public hanging. The public hanging is the public hanging is a slow death. The way that the Islamic Republic executes is that they do not make you, like when they put the noose around your neck, they don't, there's not a trapdoor under your feet that opens that you fall and breaks your neck and you die right away. This is worse than the Dark Ages. In the Dark Ages, when they executed, most of the time it was with a sword. It would be a quick death. What they do instead is that they lift you, like they put the noose around your neck and they lift you and you slowly suffocate. It's a very slow and painful death. Sometimes it takes up to 20 minutes. They have a doctor there to keep coming and checking on you to see if you died.
This is strangulation.
Yes. The pressures, there was, sometimes the pressure on your neck is so much. There was one person that chewed at their tongue from the pressure. But there were so many people there last night chanting and trying to stop the execution. And there was a heavy security presence, but the execution went anyways. And the execution, this is so violent and disgusting. The execution happens right with the sound of the azan, the call to prayer. So the morning call to prayer, what happens exactly at dawn, the way that they do it by the Islamic Republic executes in Iran, right when the azan call to prayer goes out, right with the sound of Allahu Akbar, that's when they do the hangings. So the Iranian people have associated the morning call to prayer with the murder of the best of Iran. And this is why, Iranian people say that this is one reason out of many why they hate Islam more and more every single day, because they kill us with the Islamic morning call to prayer. So let me just play this video. So two men were executed in Isfahan by Islamic Republic on Tuesday. Look, people are still coming out. They still chanting Javid Shah. Javid Shah, even after the massacre, even after the oh no, sorry. This is referring to the January 8th protest. Sorry, I got that wrong. But this is the gathering around. So I have the full videos actually. This doesn't have the full thing. This is a longer version of the gathering outside. So they chanted Bisharaf actually. So people were gathering outside. So people, and then when the execution happened, they started booing. When they started. Is a pub, guys. This was a public hanging. Most of the hangings so far have been in private. This was a public one. You hear that? That's the azan. That's the morning call to prayer that happens at the same time of the execution. You could hear the azan in the background. And then we
You
had
mind if
this
I
when
ask you
people
something about this?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
If
Please,
they
please ask
had
as many
been,
questions.
if they had been doing it in private, why do these publicly?
There's two reasons, and I think the second one is more accurate. The first reason that most people are saying is that they're afraid of an uprising coming very soon, right? They want to do this publicly, so to scare people to not do an uprising. They especially with Netanyahu now being in Washington D.C., the Islamic Republic is anticipating a big attack happening, and they're afraid that after this big attack, the Iranian people might want to do an uprising. So they want to remind them of what they're capable of. Okay. This theory might be true to some extent. The problem is that the Islamic Republic knows that more than fear, this causes anger. And the anger is bigger than the fear. And these behaviors actually causes more uprising in the long term. It might cause short term, like in the short term, it might be sometimes a bit, effective, a bit, but just a bit longer term, it actually, the anger has a bigger chance of being a catalyst for uprising rather than the fear stopping them. And the Islamic Republic has the data, and they know this. So I mentioned on the Persian channel before I came here, my theory, and the people in the chat agreed with me, is that this is more in response to an immediate threat, a more immediate threat than even an uprising. To me, this is satisfying the base of support that Islamic Republic has, because the Islamic Republic knows that this doesn't stop uprising. The Islamic Republic fears losing its base more than it fears an uprising, because it thinks that it could deal with an uprising. It could just shoot an uprising. It cannot deal with losing its base. And right now, its base of support is very angry with the Islamic Republic. And because the Islamic Republic has been humiliated by the Americans and Israelis without a meaningful response to Israel and United States. So these executions are for the same reason why the Islamic Republic bombs Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan, because they like to attack the weak, because they need to give something to their supporters to show that they're doing something. When they can't do a meaningful response to Americans and Israelis, they need to hit somebody else, hoping that the base of support sees that they still are Islamic. They're still fighting the enemies of Islam, that Islamic rule still stands, that the Islamic regime still has power, that they're not pathetically weak. They can do something. They need to give the jihadi Islamic people who want a strong Islamic rule a demonstration that we're still here and we are still killing your and our enemies. They want Trump's blood. These people want Trump's blood, but given that they don't have Trump's blood, they have to give them some blood. Does that make sense?
Okay, you said two reasons. Both of them make sense. Can it be a combination too? Like both of these can be true? Like they
Yeah,
do
both of
want
them could
the
be true.
blood to flow to satisfy the sad penguins, the crazy people, and they also are fearing an upcoming uprising, so they want to make a show of force.
Yeah, it could be a mix of both. The reason why I'm leaning towards the second one more is because the Islamic Republic knows that this behavior is the cause of the uprising. It's not. It doesn't avoid an uprising. Eventually, this is why we have uprisings. They know that. They know that, but they can't. But the Islamic Republic can't afford right now to think long term because it has more immediate threats to itself than it needs to deal with.
It's like when your hands are hurt from hard work, it forms calluses, and this kind of pain is going to form some calluses and make the people harden their resolve. Is kind of like an analogy, I would think.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I thought I started a comment here. I thought it may be even appropriate. Who does these in the judiciary? Is he on the bingo sheet? There's a person here asking
Yes.
where you get the boom boom bingo sheet. Maybe you would like to discuss that a little bit. I don't know if you would.
Yes. So I'll give you the link for to people who want this. Because I will put it in the chat. I saw by the way, Monkey, thank you so much for paying attention to the chat and the requests that they have of us. You know, you're so mindful of people's of our community. I appreciate that. And so somebody in the chat was asking for the link to this and I'll put it in the chat for you guys. So yeah, this is the structure of the Islamic Republic and the different sections and the people on it and the ones who've been killed and the ones who are still alive. So yeah, if you
By the
go,
way, thank you for the question, Will. Now,
thank you. So this is the judicial branch. This is why the Iranian people, one of the most hated people in Iran is Ejei, is because these executions happen under his order, and he does more, like he's pushing for more executions, right? This is why so many people ask why Israel didn't take him out, like during these operations, right? But again, Israel has they're going based on what they think hurts the Islamic Republic the most, but for obvious reasons, so many Iranian people prefer Ejei to be one on the highest priority for the people to be taken out. And also, this judge is very important as well. Salavati, Judge Salavati, he so he's a judge that has the highest amount of executions. So I don't know if he's the highest, but either he is the highest, or he's close to the top. People understand that if he's your judge, you're probably going to get executed. He loves executing people. So Salavati is a very hated judge in Iran as well.
he's either top executioner or well sentencer to execution or among the top.
Among the top. I think he's the top. I'd have to double check. Yeah. Let me see. There was another video about this. I think I played this one. Did I? Oh no, I didn't. So there were protests by against the regime after the execution. People are chanting "Bi Sharaf, Bi Sharaf" means dishonorable, dishonorable, and the security forces arrived with their famous green lasers. You see the green laser? You see that?
I did see that, but I don't understand what it is.
Okay, so during the massacre in early January, these green lasers were something that we had to deal with and talk about a lot. The green lasers are the regime security forces as three purposes. Either it's a sniper has them and they're targeting people to shoot them. That was their original understanding. That's what they are. But then on the ground, some of the commander of different units, they hold the green lasers in their hand as a way to point to people for the sniper to take out. Like they go into underground and identify who's a leader, and they point at him for the sniper to take them out. So that's the second utility that they have. And the third utility that they have is as a fear tactic, because now people understand that this is either on a sniper or somebody identifying somebody to be taken out. So sometimes now they just use it as a way to make people scared that they might be taken out, right, as a fear tactic. But the thing is that these people who came out against the execution, they came out after experiencing the early January massacre, and they're still coming out and fighting against the regime and against the execution, which is pretty extraordinary in my opinion, because like all of these people know what happened, the massacre that happened early January, but they still came out to try to protest against the hangings.
I believe this would also be, we talk about the effect of the, what I like to call the incalculable loss, and it is also very possible that, well, these three people touched many lives, or their families touched many lives, and although families that these people's families touched would want to mourn their loss and share their pain. Do you understand what I'm saying? So at a minimum, three people, three families, let's say 5 members of each family touch how many people? Aside from the people that the people sentenced also touch, it could lead to a crowd of easily 100 people, just people who directly know these people or their families. That's just them. That could easily be 100 to, maybe even 200 people if you go out through the long length of their life. People that knew them in high school, people that knew them even in middle school or elementary school, that are from the same town and come out. So that could raise the total. Like I'm talking direct communication, maybe, recent. If we go throughout their lives, people that knew them or their family, the amount of people that will come up is a part of the incalculable loss of a life because of the amount of people that a life can touch and affect.
Yeah. Monkey, this is not just they take away the best of our people, because these are not, when you say that they touch the lives and they touch and affect, these are people who came out for the liberty, to liberate their country. This is like these are not average ordinary people. These are the people that the Islamic Republic is taking away from us, are people who could have lived normal, like, I mean, not normal, they live in Iran, but they could have went on living their lives, but they came out in early January in a protest against the Islamic Republic, fully aware of what the cost might be. So they're not just killing people, they're killing heroes. They're taking the best of us away from us.
Now, another question. Have there been reports of anyone that's been arrested or literally shot during this? Because I see this video, this would lead me to believe that some people maybe not shot but arrested and possibly shot. Have there been any reports like that?
Not yet. I mean, if there has been, I haven't seen it yet. But good question. I will take a look at it. I will keep an eye on it. Let's see if there was some shooting here. I think. Let me actually play this. That's a good question. I think this video has some shooting in it. Was it this video that had shooting in it, or this one? There was one video. Yeah, this is the day after. So this is the day after. So the day after, there were so many security forces in the streets because after the execution, they were worried that there would be an uprising. So this is the situation the day after. You can see there's so many security forces in the streets.
And one way to identify them is because they also use these motorcycles. These will be considered in the U.S. off-road motorcycles and police
Mm,
uniforms together. Oh, I also see lots of
yes.
police vehicle, larger vehicles.
Yeah, armored vehicles. Yep. So that's an update. Another update in Iran is let me play this for you. These are, guys, when Monkey says sad penguins, is because of these people who dress up like this. They have black chador, black hijab, but they also wear these white shrouds because they're saying that they were ready to die to save Islam and their regime and the Islamic rule against, the people who are trying to do a coup. So take a look at this. People are stoning. They put the American flag, the UK flag, Israel's flag on the ground, and Trump's picture and Netanyahu's picture on the ground, and they're stoning it. But take a look at what's happening here. Let me play it.
رمی جمرات جانفدایان انقلاب اسلامی شیطان امروز ما مفسدین داخلی و دشمنان.
So he's saying these are the devils of our time, the corrupted people of our time. So notice something. You see these.
What's the pictures on their chests?
Let me see. Oh, these are the martyrs. The martyrs during the war. Right? But here's the thing. Look at these three pictures over here. So guys, there's something very significant about these three pictures over here. It's not just who they are, but who they are not. And this is something I predicted on the Persian channel. And when it happened, people were on the Persian channel were kind of like impressed that it actually did happen at some point, right? So this is Zarif, Rouhani, and Khatami. Okay, Zarif, Rouhani, and Khatami. These are Zarif is the former foreign minister of the Islamic Republic, right? Rouhani is the former president of the Islamic Republic. Khatami is also a former president of the Islamic Republic. They're putting their pictures alongside Trump and Netanyahu, and they're stoning them. And these people are still in Iran. These are the so-called reformers, right? And they're basically, they blame these people for being Zionist, for being traitors, for doing treason, for selling out the ideals of the Islamic Republic, for capitulating to the enemy and wanting to make the Islamic Republic want to surrender to the Americans and Israelis. And they consider them to be Zionist spies within the country, right? That's what they think. That's why they're stoning them, okay? But here's a more that's not new, okay? These three people being hated by the more jihadi, Durka, Islamic-minded people within the Islamic Republic. I mean, they're hated by everybody, honestly. They're hated both by these jihadi types, but they're also very much hated by the anti-regime people. Like, they're the least popular people in Iran, hated by all sides. But from our side, they're hated for good reason because they're trying to save the Islamic Republic. From their side, they're hated because they're stupid. They think that these are Zionists among them or spies or whatever, right? But even though these people are stupid, the people who are moving them and funding them and telling them what to chant, they're not stupid. These are the useful idiots that Monkey you talk about often, right? These are the useful idiots. But the puppet master, the person behind the people who fund the Hosseinians, the mosques, the people that fund the hayats that they belong to, they know exactly what they're doing, okay? And you might think these people are against negotiations. They're against the an MOU or capitulating to the Americans and Israelis. They want to go. Their goal is to get revenge, to basically kill President Trump, and nothing short of that would satisfy them. That's what they want, right?
So
And
like,
this is yes.
I'm sorry.
So
No, I'm
you asked
sorry.
a
Go
question
ahead.
before I go to. No. I want to.
Well,
I
I
want
had
to-
I had a quick question. If I was going to simplify it, these people are controlled opposition, the same people who are on the extreme who have to kill everyone that fund that side in the churches may also be funding these guys, so that, and these people are fooled by the controlled opposition because the same apparatus that brings up the hardliners also brings up the reformers, just to have that fight be the entertainment for the people and not have them looking at the structure itself. Like it's LARPing, it's a kayfabe, it's like WWF. These people aren't really like the enemy. These people are propped up by the same people, something like that.
Well, that's that's pretty interesting that you put it that way. Okay, I think like you get it more than most people. What I predicted is that at some point these people will have these types of, I don't know, rituals, and Ghalibaf would not be in some of them. There would be no mention of Ghalibaf, right? I said that it would be smart of Ghalibaf to, at some point, to pay the Hosseinias and mosques that manage these things, to, instead of making these people to stop expressing their anger, to do two things: to keep the anger that why is the Islamic Republic talking to the Americans, why are they signing an MOU, keep that anger, but go back to the traditional people that you blame. So go back to Zarif, Rouhani, and Khatami instead of, or at least alongside with, Ghalibaf, Pezeshkian, and Araghchi. So you see, like, there's no picture of Ghalibaf here, no picture of Araghchi here, no picture of Pezeshkian here. They're going and attacking the traditional people, the people that they're used to attacking, for capitulating and being soft and not being aggressive in the response. And it's interesting because I predicted this, and now it's happening here. There's no Ghalibaf here. And sometimes Ghalibaf can share the blame instead of being the sole target of attack. Pezeshkian is a good scapegoat, but Ghalibaf prefers to just go back to this so-called reformers instead of this current people who are wearing the suits. That's one strategy. Another strategy is to, these people get angry over four things mostly. They get angry over why hijab laws are not being enforced in Iran. They get angry over the not doing a meaningful response to the Israelis. That's number two. Not a meaningful response to the Americans. Why Israel doesn't even exist? Why is Trump alive? Why is the USS Abraham Lincoln not at the bottom of the sea? So hijab, Israel, United States. Fourth, why is there not enough executions? Why is it that we're executing 12 people instead of 2,000 people, right? Not enough execution. So they get angry over these four things, right? So the Islamic Republic cannot deliver on number 2 and 3, right? So they have to make Lego videos to them to instead of actually delivering. So because they cannot deliver on 2 and 3, they have to deliver on hijab sometimes. The worry with the hijab is that it could cause an uprising, but you still have to deliver sometimes to these people. So you might see a more enforcement of an hijab at some point, and then they're going to let it go. They're going to loosen hijab laws and then loosen it again. Just tighten it to produce these people some videos, but not tighten it enough for us to get a massive kind of incident and then cause an uprising. It's a very hard balancing act by the Islamic Republic. In Iran, we say it's like sitting on a saw. Right? It's like you have a saw right up your bum, and you can't go. If you go forward, it's going to cut you in half. If you go backwards, it's going to cut you in half. So this is a saw. Like, in English, we say you're cut in you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. In Iran, we say you're sitting on a saw. There's no going forward or going backward. You're going to get cut right through your bum, right? This is why they're doing execution to satisfy, these sad penguins. The Islamic Republic wants to satisfy these people. So the strategy is give them some executions, bring back hijab enforcement so that these people see that hijab laws are being enforced some places, somewhere, and also redirect their anger of the MOU towards these three people, Khatami, Zarif, and Rouhani. That's the strategy. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I also have like an analogy. It's like you have a pressure cooker. If you don't let these people blow off some of that steam, it's going to blow up. So what you're doing is aiming that steam at other people so it doesn't burn you in the face, right? Would that be
Exactly.
a good analogy? Like you have to let them release some of that pressure because you can't clamp down on them, they'll explode. So what you're doing is you're opening up a release valve and you're aiming it where by funding these same people that probably hate you, but you're funding the direction of where that steam goes. Is this like a good analogy?
Yes, exactly. A pressure release valve.
Makes sense.
And this is why the Iranian people have recognized that the so-called reformers or anyone else that tells them like, hey, look, hijab laws are not being enforced, like, hey, look, now we have concerts, they recognize that as the more dangerous enemy, right? This is why the Iranian, one of the most famous chants of the Iranian people when they come and do chants during the uprisings is Eslah talab usul gara dige tamum majera, which means both the reformers and hardliners, your time is up. Many Iranian people correctly identify the so-called reformers as the main enemy because at least with the hardliners, you know what you're getting. The reformers are the sneaky ones who are the pressure release valve, who are give you a fake sense of hope for a better future. And this is what, after so many years of dealing with these fake reformers, this is why the Iranian people trust nothing but Pahlavi, because it's only through that name that they have realized that it's only through that path that they're going to get liberty. Everybody else is just working with the Islamic Republic to provide a version of the Islamic Republic that looks good, but it's the same old crap. This is why the Iranian people call it skin shedding, because it's like a snake that is shedding its skin, but it's still the same snake, and they don't trust it, and they're like Pahlavi or any or nothing else.
And these people hate them because if there ever were to make a deal be made, it would be with these people, right? The Iranians that are the seculars, I would say, even if they have some faith, they would be more secular. They hate these people because they're two-faced liars propping up the regime, and the sad penguins hate them because if there were ever a deal made with the devil, it would be these people making that deal.
Yes, and yes, 100%. And these people hate them because Ali Khamenei used these people as a scapegoat for so many years, right? Every time something went right, like for them, he took the credit. Every time something went wrong, these were the people who were Separbello, like they would take the bullets for Khamenei and they would get the blame. So imagine how many times for decades of them taking the blame. So these people are now Khamenei. At least when Ali Khamenei was alive, he would use them, but he would protect them, right, as well, because they were so useful. But now he is dead, and they were taking all the blame. So they're so hated by these sad penguins, as you say. And there's no Ali Khamenei is not there to basically hold these people back. At least, right? They got all the blame, but the anti-regime people hate them because they realize what the game is. They realize that these people were being used as as a mask of the Islamic Republic to make the Islamic Republic look good to the Western world and to the anti-regime people, but they were basically working with each other. But because they were a mask that was supposed to look good to us and it didn't, these people started associating them with being Westerner, being American-minded, Israeli Zionist-minded, and traitors. So they were supposed to look good to us, but also take the blame for these people, right? So basically, now they're in a situation that everybody hates them. We hate them because they are the ones who are responsible for the Islamic Republic surviving, and they hate them because they blame them for everything.
They've also basically been trained to have this
To hate them.
response because if if the last Ayatollah would always oh, it's this guy's fault, but don't kill them. It's these guys' fault, but don't kill them. Anything bad that happens, they're gonna say, well, it's these guys' fault because it always is these guys' fault. So they've been kind of
Yes.
trained to follow that pattern.
This is why some of these people also hate AJ. Okay, because they are wondering why has AJ not executed these people? Like there's like it's obvious that these are Zionist spies, right? Among us. So why hasn't AJ, like, not only they're not executed, they're free. They're not arrested, they're not executed. Like they're wondering how could this be an Islamic regime if we have Zionist spies living right among us and everybody knows that they're Zionist spies and there's nothing happening to them. So these sad penguins at some point were protesting in front of his office, telling him to do something, like go arrest Rouhani, go execute Rouhani, go execute Zarif, go execute Khatami. Like, what is happening here? Is this not an Islamic regime?
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Mm.
And you can't let them go. You can't arrest them. You know what? Maybe for performative reasons they may get arrested and questioned or something at some point as a desperate measure. One of them.
Yes, that's a very good prediction, actually. If it gets really, really bad and the regime is losing so much support among their base of support, if they're so desperate, they might actually execute these 3 people. So to make these people be like, oh my God, we got saved. Finally, thank you. Let's go home. Finally, it happened.
Which
We won.
one would you see more likely? Which one is the least powerful that would affect the least? Like if you were, you put your evil Durka hat on, evil penguin costume on, and which one would you take out to show the most support for the sad penguins, but take the least amount of effective power from the regime?
Okay, so these are the 3 people, okay? Rouhani would be the most significant because they hate him the most. And then Zarif would be the second most significant, and Khatami the third most significant, only because he was farther back as a president. But because of that, I might actually start with the least important. I mean, he's very important, but maybe I will try with him before I get to the rest, just to see
Like
if I could.
currently influential and currently controlling anything. Who would be
None of
like
them.
the one that least has that least control, least effect, but still hated? So you can, I did something, but this guy wasn't even like really important at anything. Probably the Katami is the guy you were saying?
Khatami, yeah. Khatami guy, probably, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All 3 of them have been kind of sidelined right now, but I would go Khatami first.
Ahmadinejad, if they find him, he's cooked, right? What's going on with that guy? I heard he was like Shlomo Ahmadinejad.
Yeah, I mean, they know where he is. I think they're monitoring him very. They can't. He's dangerous. This is Ahmadinejad. Okay, so Ahmadinejad has been directly moving against Ali Khamenei. Like, he has been transparent and open about it, right? And they asked him one time, why are they not executing you? Like, why are they not doing anything to you? And he said, because I have some really important information of them, and I have given it to certain people that will release it if they kill me. So he said that himself, and that's why I'm alive.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would it be outside Iran or inside Iran?
I don't know. I don't even know if he's telling the truth, but that would make sense why he's alive.
Like, why he's not even arrested, right?
Because you can set up. It's really hard to tell.
Like, a little bit about tech. You can set up a document bomb. Like, if I don't log in,
yes,
boom, this hits. This gets emailed automatically to 20 places and with all these files and pictures and whatever. If I don't log in every once a month or whatever.
Apparently, he was under house arrest, and Israel tried to save him. Like, the bombing next to his house was when his house was bombed. during like after when the war started, when the 40-day war started, a lot of people thought, oh my God, Israel is killing Ahmadinejad. But later it came out that no, they weren't trying to kill Ahmadinejad. They were killing his guard so that he could run away. And they were, yes, but then he was injured during that operation and he got cold feet. So this is one reason why there's two reasons why that plan failed, right? One, because Ahmadinejad got scared because of the injury, and he got cold feet. Two, because of this Kurdish separatists basically took the guns and didn't use them. So there was the plan apparently was they had three parts. Bombing the Islamic Republic, killing the top leaders, including the supreme leader, and the suppression apparatus of the regime. One, getting Ahmadinejad to become the leader after they kill, so many of the regime heads, and arm the separatist groups to come in and do the ground operations. That was the plan. One part went really well. The bombings were going very well, but two parts failed. Ahmadinejad got cold feet because he was injured during the operation, and the Kurdish separatist groups basically kept the guns and didn't do anything.
I'd like to point out, just my opinion, I could be wrong, but even if successful, this was a terrible plan. Would you want that to be successful?
No.
Absolutely not, right?
No, no. Especially the separatist part was horrible too.
Like, I don't think Ahmadinejad was like, a little angel over here. I'm sure he's got blood on his hands and not the best intentions. Hooking him up with an armed outsider insurgency of Islamo-commies seems like a terrible idea. That's just basically IRGC 2.0. Less mullah, more commie. I mean, this sounds. Who came up with this plan? Oh my! You know who I suspect? You know who I suspect?
Ooh.
A combination of, I don't know, JD Pence and Giuliani or some shit. Like some stupid mech Republicans and JD Pence, aka JD Vance.
Okay, so look at this. I was right. Steve is saying Kurds taking weapons was for January, not when the war started. You're mixing shit. I just checked it. The U.S. attempted to deploy armed Kurdish forces right after the 40-day war started in early March 2026 to create an internal ground front against the Iranian regime. The operation fell apart mid-war after Kurdish groups declined to advance into combat without firm post-war security commitments from Washington. So look at, you're being so, I don't know, you're telling me this and you're acting like I am mixing stuff up, and you're saying it with so much confidence, and I looked it up and I was right.
Well, you know what?
Yeah,
I'll give you credit for checking yourself, even though you were pretty sure about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll check it. This is according to Times of Israel, Middle East Eye. So American University School of International Service. So this is according to those sources. So, yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't say, "You idiot, you're mixing shit up," if he just says you're mixing shit up, the shit part might not be trying to be offensive. It's just like people sometimes talk that way.
Okay. So yeah, that's true. I say like, okay, then I'm mixing shit. Sorry. Okay, love you, Steve. Thank you. Actually, you know what? Thank you. It's good to double check things. It's good. Monkey is right. I overreacted. I apologize.
No, I don't think you took it like in a bad way. I don't think you were mean to him about it or reactive.
Yes.
I think you're like, you know what? Let me double check, and then you did double check, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, but I also didn't want Steve to feel called out, so I pointed out like maybe he's just saying shit like a normal conversational way.
Yeah, Steve is saying love you too. Okay, I love you too, Steve. Thank you for making me double check. It's good to double check things. Yeah, you know what? I shouldn't be confident in what I'm saying. I should always be skeptical. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, so let me talking about executions. And guys, I see the super chats. I will respond to them soon. But so let me this news. Tehran prosecutor Ali Salehi said Tuesday that an indictment had been issued against U.S. President Donald Trump over the killing of Ali Khamenei. IRGC affiliated Fars News reported. The charges include corruption on earth, murder, destruction, intentional assault, and terrorist act. Under Iranian law, corruption on earth and murder can carry the death penalty. Speaking at a press conference, Salehi said indictments had been completed in 140 cases linked to the war, including 74 involving the US government and Trump, and 23 involving Israel and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So basically, they're saying there's a death penalty for President Trump right now in Iran.
They're making it like official within their legal framework. Like
Yes.
I see like 74 cases. You're talking about 74 American officials in government, because I saw that and I didn't know if that was exactly what that means.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that means either.
74, including 74 U.S. government and Trump, and 23. So are these, because that's a lot of cases, but this would mean that like around 100 of them, or a little less, are U.S. officials and Israeli officials and military. Like, that's my read on it. I don't know if I'm getting this wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I think your guess is as good as mine.
Because one of them says involving Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm like, okay, are you saying that some of your people in your government are directly tied to the U.S. and Israel, or are you saying that you're making official within your legal framework that these people be that did crimes? I don't know where.
Yeah, I don't know either. So yeah. Mark Levin is bringing attention to all of this. Thank you so much, Mark Levin. He's saying, "Good Lord, help these people," and he's quote tweeting this video saying, "I feel sick. The Islamic regime is now hunting everyone who protested the executions. Look how our unarmed people are running for their lives. Our beautiful in Iran is hell on earth." So let me see what this is referring to. Did you see the green laser? I think that was the green. I think that's the green laser. You see that?
Yeah, like I was never a sniper, but usually a sniper won't want to reveal his location, and that kind of big ass green laser would reveal your location. That seems more like a pointer.
Yeah.
Like I think the teams use lasers, but they're infrared lasers, so you can only see it with the goggles on.
Yeah. Exactly. And then here. And Mark Levin, yeah, you're right. You were 100% correct. And now most of the time when you see green laser, is someone on the ground pointing at people, either to cause them to be scared that they're being targeted, or to tell its units who to target. Not necessarily, when you're pointing with a green laser, it could also be just not to a sniper, but to other people who the main threat is. And
yeah, like pointing out targets. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. Mark Levin also posting then saying, "Armed Iranian people." I have some more videos from inside Iran asking to be armed. I'm gonna post them soon. Let me play this one. Let me see what let me actually read the caption to this one. So this one is saying, "Clashes broke out at the scene between regime opponents and supporters. Live fire was reported from the Revolutionary Guard at protesters demonstrating against the executions. They will never stop. Finish the fucking job. So let me see. Oh, this is the same video. But he's posting it from another account as well. Oh, there's okay. He's doing it a lot. Okay, so Mark Levin again. Oh no, not Masih Alinejad, but it's fine. Stop negotiating. So Mark Levin is saying stop negotiating with these Nazis. So yeah, I mean, as long as this is getting attention, but just guys remember, Masih Alinejad is against Pahlavi, and she follows me. But she's anti-Pahlavi. Don't trust her. Let me see this video. I mean, I think yeah, these were the protesters who were out there before the executions, trying to chant against the execution. Yeah, this was this blue area is the execution ground, and these were the people. Yeah. Okay. We should get a quick update of what has happened recently now that we covered this. But before that, let me take a look at your super chats. And guys, thank you so much for the support. Noliborg saying, sending love and hug to all. Javid Shah, free Iran. Free Iran.
Payanda Iran.
Iran. Payanda Iran. Javid Shah, Noliborg. And honestly, this is why we're so much, I understand that some people get frustrated with our impatience over this. They're like, these things take time. War is not a video game. You cannot just it doesn't work like that. There's logistics, there's political limitations, operational limitations, and sometimes it gets some non-Iranians might get frustrated with Iranians who are sometimes they might get a little bit rude or aggressive sometimes, saying finish the job. I mean, come on, what are you waiting for? And you look at them and okay, but this is not easy. You can't just press a button and make it happen. But the reason why, I mean, I hope people understand they're dealing with a lot. They're waking up and then there's another execution. There's another execution, and then there's another execution. It's just really difficult to deal with this. It's really difficult to deal with living in a country that is being ruled by Islamic tyranny. So if you sometimes hear them talking like that, just understand that it's not easy to be patient. Okay, it's easier to be patient looking at this from the outside, and even if they have to be more patient, it's just not easy. It's not easy to be patient about this. I hope you guys, if you ever see some Iranians talking in a way that seems that they're maybe not grateful for what President Trump has already done. I mean, so many of them are, but if you hear some of them that seem that they're not, please be forgiving and understand where they're coming from. It's most people have not experienced living under these conditions. Yeah.
It's try to be understanding.
Yes. Thank you. And Sherry with the super chat saying, how do you do it, Armin? I can feel my heart break. I have to step away sometimes to work through the pain, but you are always here every day, all day. You must have an amazing wife. God bless you both. Thank you. Well, it's you guys as well. You guys, you Sherry, for example. It's actually more difficult to deal with this alone. If you get this news and you're just by yourself, then it's actually a lot more difficult than me coming here and sharing it with you guys and seeing your response and seeing your love and seeing this message, for example, that you just sent me. That's what makes it more manageable. You guys make it more manageable because when there's pain, if there are other people who share your pain or who see your pain, who are trying to help you go through it, that's what makes it possible, right, Monkey?
Absolutely. Like sharing the weight of a burden lightens it. Everybody, like this is true in physics and the heart.
Yeah. And thank you. And then we have CRW saying it was Israeli plan. Okay, so I think that's what I've heard as well. The whole Kurdish separatist um, Ahmadinejad plan was an Israeli plan. It seems like it, and President Trump disagreed with it. And this is one of those rare cases where I agree more with the, you know, that I'm disagreeing with the Israeli plan. So here's the thing: as much as I love Israel and most of their plans, no, I don't like. No, nothing is perfect, right? And this is not even Israel is perfect. And there, I have criticized Israeli policies sometimes, and this is going to be one of them. If this is it was the Israeli plan, it is true that within Israel there are certain groups who are more interested in using the separatist groups against Islamic Republic. That group has been becoming weaker and weaker ever since the Pahlavi movement have become stronger in Iran, especially because Israel is a democracy and the Israeli people have a very good relation with the Iranian people, and the Israeli people know that the Iranian people want Pahlavi. So many Israeli people also want now want Pahlavi, and that does have an influence on Israeli policies. So in Israel, just like every country, it's not a monolith. There are different movements, there are different ways of thinking, and there are different strategies, right? Just like in the United States, we have J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio and the leftists. In Israel, we also have different opinions. And there are some people within Israel that think the best strategy is to use the separatist groups. But the good thing is that ever since Princess of Pahlavi visited Israel and showed that the Iranian people support him and he supports Israel, that movement in Israel has got smaller and smaller, but it's not dead. It still has some influence. More people in Israel support, the Iranian people's desire to bring Pahlavi back to Iran instead of supporting groups like that. But even though that group was small in influence, it still existed. But hopefully now, with the failure of this plan, is close. That group's influence becomes close to zero. I don't know if it will, but hopefully this was the last time we hear about such a plan coming from Israel ever again. Now that they tried it.
Yeah, yeah, I love those guys, but that plan sucked. That plan was ass. I'm completely against it. You know, love those
Correct.
people, hate that plan.
Yes. And Trump, it seemed like Trump already knew that the plan. Trump said that this was I was against this plan. I knew this would happen, so Trump was against it.
I think sometimes it's earlier, like older people that are stuck on older ways of dealing with stuff, because I understand the Kurdish forces have been used before, and even outside Iran, not all Kurd separatists are the same. Like some Kurd, like you would know this better than me, but the Kurds in Iraq are not even the same or co-aligned with the Kurds in the east. The Kurds in the east and the southeast might be different from the Kurds in the northeast. Like there's some differences there, and we have used some alliances with the ones in the I think would be northeast. Where's the border with Syria at? Syria would be more. I know we've used
Syria,
them.
Northwest Iraq. So 4 countries: Turkey, Syria, Iran, Iraq. The Kurdish people would be sharing that area that they connect. I mean, Syria doesn't connect with Iran, but you know what I mean. Syria is
So it'd be through
connected to Turkey and Iraq, and Turkey and Iraq are connected to Iran. That whole area that they connect is Kurd.
As far as I know, some of the the United States has kind of joined with some Turkish Kurds against some forces in Syria. This was long
Yes.
ago, and I'm very just off the top of my head, sort of remembering this. But those would not have the same interest as the Iraqi Kurds because they're like so far away from each other, probably completely different structures, alignments. It's not like Hezbollah and Hamas.
True, but mostly
Still a bad
still
idea.
communist. Still mostly the one thing they seem to share a lot, not all of them, these separatist groups, is that they love socialism. Even the
Yeah,
ones that
that's
America supported.
yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Not even a little. That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, in Syria, for example, they literally created a communist state, Rojava, which has become the American communists love. Like when you ask Americans, like, show me a communist state that has worked, they mention Rojava, which is the Kurdish separatist groups in Syria.
No, I've communism. Ew.
Yes, that's the one that's the group that America supported, by the way, against
Hey,
ISIS.
thanks for helping. Thanks for going against the slaughtering of the. I think it was the Druze that were getting slaughtered.
No, the
And the
ISIS,
sold and the Kurds themselves.
everybody.
Yeah, by ISIS. They were killing everybody. It was
Yazidis.
pretty much everybody. They weren't like very picky.
Yeah. Leo with a super chat saying, "My heart goes out to the families of those brave souls. May their memories be a blessing. برای آزادی ایران دعا میکنم. آزادی." So the Persian part, برای آزادی ایران دعا میکنم, means I pray for the freedom of Iran. And then she says آزادی, which means freedom or liberty in Persian.
Amen.
The families were there, by the way. Yeah. The families were there at the protest to try to stop the executions. Yeah. Thank you, Leo. And then we got another super chat by Bill saying Trump should expose the executions in person. News conference today. He should also demand Islamic Republic prove Mushtaba is alive. Trump has actually talked about the executions a lot more than most people. I mean, I like your idea. That's a great idea. I also do have to remind people that President Trump talks about the massacre and executions more than I ever expected, to be honest. So, and I really appreciate that.
Someone who also talked about this a lot and is being in the news today is Lindsey Graham. The funeral is today. There will be lots of heads of state and statesmen there. Trump will be there, the vice president. I saw a live feed where he was already there. And I think the message that he had for the freedom of Iran will, will be something that's more thoroughly considered in his passing. And I believe that his sister, who will take his place, because she's an experienced politician and pretty much the state could legally do it. She's a good person, a good fit for the job, very prepared candidate. I believe that she will continue in his absence to push forward that goal, that Iranians be free of the IRGC.
Would she be influential though?
She might be more, well, she wouldn't have the exact same connection network. I believe she would retain a large portion of his staff, maybe bring in some of hers, but I believe in large part because her role wasn't in the Senate, she would want to keep his Senate staff so that she could maintain some of those connections and start having some of those meetings. But I understand that when a new person comes into a role, they're a little bit even more influential because it's a fresh start with a lot of senators that maybe didn't have a contact before, and it gives the opportunity to renew conversations about subjects such as this. Is this making sense?
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right, because this is based on what we saw, how influential he was. This is going to be a huge loss for our cause, more of a loss that, I mean, unless you're right and she could, fill in his shoes.
It won't be easy for her. I absolutely think that it won't be, but if anyone can do it, I believe she would be the best fit.
Yeah. Amy gave us a super chat saying, "What is the story behind those long guns being the gun of choice. Does anyone know? I don't. Monkey, do you know what this means? I don't understand.
I don't remember seeing a particular weapon. We could look into what they usually use. Like, I know that they use some shotguns. I know that they might have some sniper rifles, but I apologize. I don't know specifically which
That's
ones we're
okay.
referring to.
No, that's okay. Hold on. Look at this. This might be educational. This is the areas at the 4 countries. And thank you, Emmy. Thank you for your support. So this is so this is what they want. And by the way, they will never have this. This whole idea of Kurdistan as a country is as delusional as Palestine. But this is what they want. You can see there's some parts of Iraq, some parts of Iran, some parts of Syria, and some parts of Turkey.
This smells like Hamas to me.
Yeah.
Because you're creating an insurgent force with a land claim near your border. That's exactly what Hamas is, isn't it? At the border between Egypt and Israel and other places sits this force that's claiming land and functioning as an armed insurgency. And so you're spreading that in Iraq, in Syria, in Turkey, in Armenia, and in Iran. So this would be like this is a problem. Kurdistan stinks of Hamas to me.
Yeah, I mean,
of Hamas and of the PLO.
Yeah, as a country, yes, that's what it is. And basically, this trying to achieve this will guarantee decades and decades of bloodbath. I mean, look at it. You're basically going at war with 4 different countries. Like, this will cause instability around the Middle East in a way that not that many other things can.
Yeah, my problem is this would probably be funded with the people who have been. This explains to me exactly why they're communist. They probably get all their support and funding from Russia and China. I mean, we do it sometimes, but like that ideology, like if we fund them, why aren't they capitalists? Well, they would have integrated by now if they were capitalists.
Trump stopped the support of them, and this is why a lot of these separatist groups consider Trump to have betrayed. So this is what they say. They lie. They say he betrayed the Kurds. He didn't betray the Kurds. He betrayed this minority, these separatist communist terrorist groups. He stopped supporting them. Previous administrations were supporting them. He stopped it.
He stopped funding armed commies that the Democrats funded because the Democrats were funding armed commies. Is that a good take?
Right. That's a good summary. That's the best summary I've heard, by the way. Yes. I need to. I'm going to play this. This is going to give us a quick update of where we are at. I'm going to quickly go to the washroom. Be right back while this is playing. Is that okay, Monkey? Be right back.
Go for it.
Meanwhile, a potentially explosive claim emerging from the Middle East as Ukraine's leader accuses Russia of helping Iran target U.S. bases with satellite imagery. Here is President Trump responding to all of it a short time ago.
Zelensky says that Russia is giving Iran satellite imagery of U.S. bases in the Gulf to help them target. What can you do about that?
Well, we'll find out if this. I'll ask Putin about it. They gave Venezuela a lot of equipment. Venezuela had all Russian equipment. How did that work out? Not too good. I don't think they've been doing it, certainly not at a high level. And if they have, it has been very unimpactful.
Let's bring in retired Navy captain and former Pentagon official Brent Sadler. Welcome to you, sir. Good to have you back on the program. So what's your takeaway from what President said there? He seems to be...
Before he answers, I'm going to ask you guys, because we know that Russia is giving the Islamic Republic support, and we know that it has some impact. What do you think? Some people say, like, okay, why would President Trump act like I'm not I just want to hear the justification of this, okay? Because he's like, we'll find out, I'll ask Putin, as if asking Putin gives you any information, like as if he doesn't lie, right? As if he's like going to tell President Trump the truth. And we know that he knows that Putin is doing this. I mean, they have the reports, they have the intelligence reports on his desk, and they brief him on it. So what's the point of saying like, oh, we'll find out, I'll ask him, as if like he's trusting Putin?
Sanctions. The second you admit that you know they did it, you have to sanction them. You're not going to go into a direct war with them, but you have to sanction them. So if you want to get them to do something, this is me steel manning, I think he should just sanction them. Like if you're asking me what I would do, I would just fucking start sanctioning them right now, right? But if you want to get something from them before you sanction them, you're not going to admit that they did this. You're going to say, we're looking into it. We're going to have some talks about it, right? Because I believe some of their satellite intel also comes from China. So that's where the little in between comes. Like, okay, maybe some, but not all. But China and Russia do share some of their satellite info. So, that's kind of like the gray zone about this. I would just start sanctioning them. And if you want to use sanctions for leverage, you can't just scream out, they are, because then you're not like, oh, well, we're going to do it because of this. Or they were doing it. We talked to them about it, and they're not going to do it. So we're not going to sanction them. That would be like my steel man. My position, just sanction them. Just sanction them to the umpteenth degree and sanction anybody who deals with them.
Do you think their satellite support could be responsible for some of the Americans' deaths that we just recently had?
Them and China. I believe both of those. Like okay, let me see how I can put this. Imagery is not enough. You also have to have intel on what you're looking at, right? So, like, did they just give Iranians the pictures? I don't think giving Iranians the pictures is enough to let them set a trajectory to correctly hit a target. So, are they taking the pictures, analyze them, and giving them precise and data that can be turned into targeting? That's the difference. That's the difference, right? And I wouldn't even need it to be true or proven. I would just sanction them because they're assholes. And it's a, probable deniability. Yeah, they probably did it. Are they going to deny it? Sure. Yeah, well, I don't care. I would just be sanctioning them. I'd be sanctioning because of Ukraine. I'd be sanctioning because they're providing dual-use materials. I'd be sanctioning them because the boat that Ukraine hit turned out to have dual-use materials when we looked into it. So now you're sanctioned. Like, I wouldn't even need this. I would already be hitting them for it.
Okay, let's see what this general. She said general? I think general is saying. I think he's going to have some good. Let me actually see how she introduced him. I have a lot more. I don't know if this is a good bias or not, but when I hear somebody is like a general or something, I'm not gonna believe everything they say, but I'm gonna be a bit more trusting, just a bit more trusting when I hear general or admiral or something like that.
And retired Navy captain and former Pentagon official Brent Sadler. Welcome to you, sir. Good to have you back on the program. So what's your takeaway from what President Trump there? He seems to be saying that he's making progress and something could be happening soon.
Well, with regards to the provision of satellite imagery, I mean, I see Russia and erasure with China. Those allegations and suspicions date back to early in this conflict with Iran. And given that our national interests conflict with both Beijing and Moscow over the fate of Iran, this regime, I think is to be expected. But that doesn't mean there shouldn't be a consequence. But this is not really a surprising development in and of itself. But what comes next as to what the consequence on Moscow and Beijing are, that would be.
Okay, so here's more from President Trump on the negotiations with Iran from that gaggle today. Listen.
Iran took a beating over the last 14 days, and they asked us very nicely, please stop, let's meet. And that's what we are right now. We'll see what happens. If we don't make a deal, we go back to the same thing.
How much patience do you have left?
I have a lot of patience. I have plenty of time. Plenty of time. Their whole...
Does he have plenty of time?
No, but I wouldn't say that if I was him.
Makes sense.
Whole shoreline's wiped out.
How much time does he have,
About 2 months.
and why?
Midterms.
Midterms. Okay. So you think that after the midterms, it will be, if he loses the midterms, if the Democrats win heavily during the midterms, he's not going to be able to do much. Like, why midterms? Why? Like, why?
If he doesn't have a majority in the Senate and the Congress, he would be a lame duck, meaning a president that can't get any laws passed because whatever his side proposes gets shot down by the Congress and the Senate. A lame duck can't get anything done because he doesn't have any power to. Right? It's basically cutting off cutting you off at your hands and feet. You're basically a stump there. So to make sure that he does have those gains, he would have to, number one, pass the SAVE Act. Number two, make it too big to rig, because even if you pass the SAVE Act, that doesn't mean that the cheating states are going to stop cheating, right? So you'd have to have enough power to have vigilance over that. Number three, I would put it, you need a difference in government. Like, you need to have a transitional government already. To do that, you have to have a massive campaign, start funding a transitional government, and get it recognized by the rest of the world stage. The rest of the world stage would be they should support the transitional government because they're getting their foot in the door for whatever comes next, and better deals when it comes to anything they might need from Iran, like rare earth minerals, like trade routes, like any type of this is 90 million people. Like, if you can get, some commerce going for food, for clothes, for whatever, like, the market is the market. Having that kind of good relationship from the start is good. So you would want to have a transitional government and something you can show. Look, the IRGC is gone. We're already working with the transitional government. We're not in a war anymore. This is just us having a humanitarian mission, right? And you can sell that as a win, but you'd have to hit this month, this incoming month, and be just on the steps of the transitional phase by September and be done by October. So from October to November, you're just campaigning on your wins.
I wish you were in the White House, Monkey. I really do.
Look, that's what I would do.
I'll vote for you. Eric Henderson in the chat saying, everybody post to Trump his Truth Social account, to arm the people, and tweet your state congressman to arm the people. There is power in numbers. You know what? I actually like this plan. This is a good plan. I think this is a good campaign. Should we start a campaign like this, Monkey, and advertise it?
Yes and no. Let me explain. You have to understand what arm the people means, because a lot of people think we're just going to drop a bunch of guns.
Yes,
that would be suicide. That would put us further back than forward. That would be a step back. People have this crazy notion, just drop guns in a place and the IRGC won't get it, and the insurgents won't get it, and the Kurds won't get it. That's not as easy as it sounds. You need to find their status, know that they know the language well. If you're getting anyone from the outside, you have to have a cultural understanding of who you're arming. You have to check the stability of who you're arming. You need to know their reliability. They have to be in physical performance shape, and you have to know what kind of foreign contacts they had before you give them a gun.
But if we clarify all of that we want to do vetting, that we want to do training, that is going to be under the leadership and with the coordination of the government in exile with Prince Reza Pahlavi and all of that, do you think it's worth starting a campaign?
I think it's worth starting a campaign. I think it needs to be better defined, because we're not defined. Arm the people. It sounds good because it's short, but a lot of people that have a little bit more thought are going to be like, yeah, but how? And that needs to have a shorter message that conveys we would do it right.
Right. How would you? What do you have any ideas on how we could communicate that? Because
I'm
trying.
workshopping
So-
on something. I already took a segment. I'm taking a segment from a talk that we had on the 5x5 that's dedicated to that. Like we did let's see if I can find it. We did a
have to
whole
be careful.
section just on that.
So we have to. I want to do it, but we have to also be careful while doing it on YouTube, because we need to be careful how we talk about it, because YouTube might be very sensitive about thinking that we're encouraging some. We're not encouraging people to do anything, right? We're talking about something in Washington D.C., talking to political, like, so also Monkey, for your channel, also be careful how you sorry, like, I don't want it to come off as I'm like me attacking you or anything like that. I'm just saying that I know YouTube is very sensitive about this, so we have to be careful how we talk about it, I think.
Well,
You know.
I talked to someone who's trained in how to do it legally, and they speak about it legally, who is Jeff. He is the person that went over the plan with me, and his basically one of his major parts of this is that it be done legally, and he
So-
knows like the correct language and all that to use when speaking about this, and that's why I did it the way I did it.
So just to be clear, sorry, I don't like. I hope like you don't think like I am pushing back on what you're saying. Okay, I'm just adding to it. Okay, just to be clear, I'm not
It's an
talking
important
about it
concern.
yes, I'm not talking about it being legal. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about YouTube's algorithm. I'm not talking about a human checking. Oh, are you guys doing something legal? Okay, it's legal. It's good, right? So first of all, YouTube has some certain sensitivities that even if it's legal, YouTube doesn't like it on its platform, even if it's legal, right? Also, even if it doesn't, so there's 3 layers. Is it legal? Is it legal but violates YouTube community guidelines, even though it is legal? And there's a 3rd layer. Is it legal and it doesn't violate YouTube community guidelines, but it's a type of language that YouTube's AI, if it listens in on it, will cross it as no good, even if it doesn't violate community guidelines, and will basically play it safe and strike you anyways. So that's the 3 layers that we have to be worried about, because YouTube's algorithm is not as smart as it should be when it comes to figuring out
I think
what's
if you
yeah.
know Jeff, you know the way he talks. It's hard for like regular humans to understand him sometimes, so it's also a little bit hard for YouTube. I tried to do some simplification, but because I am cognizant of how YouTube works, I made sure that when I'm talking about it, even in a simplified form, I'm aware of that. And I think this is good advice that you're giving to anybody that wants to broach these topics. Maybe someone in the chat has a YouTube channel, and maybe someone in the chat thinks, hey, I'm doing everything right. So what Armin is talking about is something that's not just about me or about any channel. It's about something that anyone in the chat, if you're a part of like the movement, you're trying to start your own channel, you should listen to what Armin is saying here about what are the tripwires that could get you in trouble on YouTube.
Right. So I think, based on the research I did, the way to talk about this is not on what the Iranian people should do, right? It's about what we should do politically in Washington, D.C. Because I think what YouTube was worried about is if we're encouraging anybody to use weapons, right? And that is YouTube. We're not doing that. Okay, people do whatever they want to do. We're not encouraging them at all, right? We're just talking about, we're encouraging what we're trying to. Again, I have to do more research, but I'll get back to you on this. Okay, Monkey.
I think
But
the topic that we talked about wasn't arming; it was training. It was vetting, actually, not training, vetting. It was more focused on vetting, because vetting is like we have to make sure that the transitional government will know that these are good people, will identify them as good people, will make sure that these people aren't terrorists, will make sure, like, it's more about future looking, and it's future looking in a way that's more about ensuring that they are good people. It's more about that than about actions taking, because vetting is not arming. Vetting is just looking at your background.
Perfect. That's a perfect. Perfect way of looking at it. Good job, Monkey. That's a great solution, in my opinion.
I have an image that that Jeff had used. Well, actually, this is from the video, and this is where we
Oh.
go into it a bit. And you see how he talks about vetting their lawful status. We have to know that they're legal citizens. We have to know that anyone that's interfacing with us knows the language correctly, that they have a cultural understanding, so they won't accidentally insult people. He went into something like Americans just cross their legs, right? And he talked about it when it happened in Somalia. But you shouldn't show the sole of your feet at people. So you may cross your legs, and when you cross your legs, you bring the sole of your foot up. If you point it at someone, in some cultures, that's insulting, and they could take offense, and you can start a fight without knowing. It's like, I'm just sitting here crossing my legs to be comfortable, but I'm not knowing that I'm being culturally insensitive, because in this region they don't like that, right? They have to have psychological stability. You want to make sure that these people, that they got a good brain on their head, that the power isn't going to go to their head, or that the pressure isn't going to get to them. The reliability of physical performance, foreign contact. We want to make sure that these aren't like some foreign government's contact, that their focus is the good of the Iranian people before we give these people any training, and we're talking even training to receive supplies. It doesn't have to have anything to do with security enforcement, right? Even if you're there to receive supply and hand out water or food, or you're going to become a distribution hub for gear like plates, I don't know, glasses, whatever you might need in your house, uh, uh, you know, anything you need, any type of job, you're going to need to vet these people. And vetting is the side of helping the people that needs to be is very important and should be remembered when we talk about this kind of help.
Okay. All right, let's go back to President Trump. We got two more super chats. Eric is saying, I think the military will not vet them, but this will let the government know we back the people. Yeah. Again, the vetting does the vetting can be done by a combination of Princess of Pahlavi's team in collaboration with Mossad and the CIA. But I think you could vet them. I think most of the work should be done with Princess of Pahlavi's team. Information gathering could be done with the intelligence agencies. Go on, Mikey.
I want to make it crystal clear. There is no way in hell that we're giving a single rifle to anybody without vetting them. That's not happening. We had problems with that with the Contras. They weren't well trained. We had problems with that with the Mexican army. They weren't well vetted, so they turned into the Zetas cartel. We learn from these mistakes because we pay for them dearly. We had problems with that in Afghanistan. We had problems because we weren't able to secure cultural adherence. We weren't able to merge with the culture well. We had our base case so far has been Iraq, because Iraq has kind of transformed himself and have been integrated to the point where they're now able to get rid of corruption. We learn from our mistakes. There is no way in hell that we're just going to drop guns into Iran. That's not going to happen. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. They need to be vetted. We're not going to be responsible for any of that. Not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It shouldn't happen like that. Obviously, shouldn't go to IRGC. Kevin with a super chat saying, "You're next, Amir. Shalom, dudes." Oh, look at this. People being so sweet with each other in the chat. And then Kevin also with a super chat saying, "For Ali's channel, confetti." Yes, for Ali's channel, guys. Ali is doing so good. His channel is growing so fast. He's getting so many views on his live streams. He's doing such a great job. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to Ali. And then let me actually put the link to his channel in the chat for people to go subscribe. There we go. And then Rod with the with 10 jewels. Thank you so much, Rod. Thank you for the jewels. And then Sassy Frass with a super chat. Oh no, this is something you start. Go on.
I highlighted, yes. Now, you tell me, Armin, is there any chance that there's a lot of IRGC hiding as civilians in that crowd?
Wait, what? 100%. If you're not vetting.
That's why just being in a crowd isn't enough to vet people. Like, I don't mean to go up against you. I understand that what you're trying to say, that those guys are valiant people, but you got to understand that they're sneaky. The RGC is sneaky, which is why you have to vet them one by one. I understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to give a compliment to the brave Iranians that came out and protested, and I share your feeling, but that can't stretch into vetted. Because vetted is arming, and arming means like Armin said, like 100% there was people there that were basically spies and infiltrators, right?
Yes. No, every crowd of Iranians, the regime will definitely try to have some people from its side among them, for sure, to see who is going to try to, especially sometimes they try to become the leader. Sometimes the most aggressive anti-regime people in the crowd are with the regime, and they're being that aggressive about it to be able to become the leader of the crowd.
Bait them into a wrong curve. Oh, let's go this way. Bam, it's a trap. That kind of thing.
That's a monkey. That is exactly what happened during January 8th and January 9 uprisings. They brought them exactly, the leaders of the so-called leaders of the crowds brought the people to the perfect place for the slaughter.
For a crossfire? Yeah.
Yes.
That's why you got to be careful with that stuff. But I do appreciate the sentiment. I commend the sentiment that you are trying to exalt the bravery of these people.
Yes, we do appreciate that. Okay, and then we have Lior getting us 200 jewels. By the way, guys, see, it's not just Ali anymore. I get the gifts as well. The jewels, we have it as well in our channel. I was getting jealous of Ali. I was like, why does he have it and I don't? But now we do. Okay, you start the next one.
Yes. Our super chatter was saying, I meant we'll know how to vet them. Yes, we'll know how to vet them. Appreciate you. Appreciate your super chat. Appreciate your comments. I don't want you to feel called out. Appreciate you.
Yes. Shaul got us 10 jewels, and Shaul got us another 30 jewels. Thank you, guys. All right, let's go back to Trump, see what he has to say here.
Time. Plenty of time. Their whole shoreline's wiped out. The strait is in very good shape. And we're talking right now. We're having good talks. So we'll see what happens. I think there's a good chance that something could happen. And if it does, good. If it doesn't, we go back to doing what we were doing 2 days ago.
Brent, your takeaway from that?
Well, certainly there's no arguing really that there's been significant damage done to the Iranian regime. The issue is it's not enough to really loosen their stranglehold on their people, which is a longer term, I guess, interest item or strategic interest. But in the near term, they still have enough force to be lethal and have to be considered and have to be worried about. So key will be securing the Strait of Hormuz for all shipping to go through there and to remove that Iranian threat. Lots of ways to go about that. But until that's done, the regime in Tehran is going to think they have leverage, and they'll continue to play a delaying tactic.
I'll finish off with this Axios report on a top U.S. military commander in the Middle East advising to halt the Hormuz bombing, saying it was an acknowledgement by both military and civilian advisors to the president there are limits to what can be accomplished through military action, and specifically an air power campaign. Do you see it the same? Are we limited with that?
Well, from a historical context, there's only so much that you can achieve from air. The one historical example where air power had a strategic or a local political impact was in Serbia during the 90s, where we were able to change the government there and enable the people to take the country away from Milosevic. And so it's not a perfect history, but the odds are, unless you actually turn up the heat in a more, I guess, closer way, it's going to be very hard to really affect the type of lasting change in Tehran that's necessary. And that's really for the Iranian people to seize.
Got it. Brent Sadler, always appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much.
I have to disagree with that because he is talking about this type of strike, and there is a limit to what this type of strike can do, but there's not. This is not the limit of what all types of strikes can do. I'm going to give you an example, and this might seem very cruel, but let's say you hit every desalination plant, every single power plant, because they're all dual use, and then the IRGC has a really big problem, but you could also be seen as cruel because water is something that's very necessary for the people to survive, right? You could affect an incredible change in government. You hit every building, you hit every power plant, every desalination plant, you just hit everything, and you say, you know what? If anybody needs any of these things, we're doing this humanitarian push from the south to the north, and we start taking over cities. Like, this is something that can be done. If you're just talking from the air, yeah, you can hit those targets, and you can hit every radio station, every TV. Like, there's things you could do so they can't move, they can't communicate. Like, this is just a misunderstanding of what can be done through strikes. I think he's talking about what those specific kind of strikes can do. If you're just hitting towers and launch sites, how many are there and how many you can shoot? Yeah, we're kind of at our limit there. I won't deny that. We're at the limit of what we can do. We would have to step up the game drastically. Personally, I might hit the power plants, but not the desalination. And that would be part of a full spectrum. Like the only thing that I would leave would be the desalination plants. And even that's a problem because if you hit the power plants, how do you pump the water to the people? That's kind of like that's the rub.
What do you think about the idea that we can't hit the much of the infrastructure, because if we do, then the Islamic Republic is going to hit so many of the infrastructure and the energy infrastructure in the Arab countries, and they have left those. This is why the Islamic Republic recently attacked the oil infrastructure in Saudi Arabia as a warning about what they are capable of, as a taste of what they could do if you come for their infrastructure. And if we go for their infrastructure, they will basically could cause a lot of damage to global economy by going after the oil infrastructure of Arab countries around the Persian Gulf. How would you respond to that?
I don't care. We're offshoring, we're friendshoring. If the Gulf partners weren't on board before and haven't been helping us hit before, and now you're fucked, well, you should have gotten on board earlier. You should have done more. You should have stopped pussyfooting around with all these fucking negotiations and holding us back. Your fucking fault. Your fucking fault. You get hit right now, your fucking fault. Stop fucking holding us back. Get on fucking board and help us start hitting these people, or get the fuck out the way. You getting hit now? Fuck you. You should have done more. That would be my answer to them.
Okay. So what if somebody then says, I'm just pushing back just to see how monkey responds.
This is what we call steel manning and straw manning, and those steel manning arguments, so we can show both sides of the argument.
Right. Exactly. So what if somebody says, like, okay, fuck them. We don't care about them. However, if we care about the US, the problem is that all of these other ways to, like Alaska, Venezuela, Iraq, getting their oil on the market is going to be a long-term solution. Right now, there is not enough volume of barrels of oil per day that could replace what we would lose if that happens. And beyond how much that hurts these Arab countries, it's the United States that doesn't have enough strategic oil reserves to be able to tolerate that, not just these Arab countries. So how would you respond to that?
I would say, what are you talking about? What oil is getting out? There's very little going out. There's not enough to make a difference. Like, I don't care. Like, stop all oil. Stop all oil from the Gulf countries. Stop it all. Stop it all right now. I don't give a shit. Because there's not much of it going out anyway. You're talking like there's big difference right now between the situation now and the situation if all a Persian Gulf will stop. There's not a big difference because there's not that much of it coming out. It's very little that's coming out, so I don't give a shit. We'll just adapt. If it goes like that for a month, if it goes for like that a week, I don't fucking care. I don't need it to go on forever. I just need a month. And if it stops permanently for a month while I hit everything, I don't give a shit. It's just a month. They'll get over it.
So So what they say is that if Bab al-Mandab, and so there is, they will say that once the Strait of Hormuz was closed, there is significant oil that is still getting out through the east-west pipeline that goes to, for example, the Red Sea, that has been able to make it a little bit more tolerable to go through all of this. If Saudi Arabia's oil infrastructure is targeted, there is like, I think 18 million barrels per day in the oil market that will not be replaceable, if I remember the number correctly, that will not be replaceable with any plans that are out there. And there is not enough cushion, like United States doesn't have enough cushion right now to be able to deal with that.
You don't have a cushion, sit on the floor. I don't care. I don't care. We have to do this. Saudis, get good at defending yourself. I don't care. We have to do this. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about oil. Fuck oil. It'll hurt. I don't care. It's going to hurt. I don't care. Is it going to hurt Europe? I don't care. Should have been on board. Is it going to hurt Saudi Arabia? I don't care. Should have been on board. Does it hurt Japan? Does it hurt the Philippines? Does it hurt Vietnam? Does it hurt Australia? I don't give a shit. Should have been on board. The people that it will hurt the least is Americans. And you know what? We have to do it. We have to do it. Yeah. We have the will now to do it. We have the ability to recover from this if we do this now. If we don't do this now, we're going to be stuck in this. What about the oil? What about the oil? For what, 5, 10, 20 years? We're not doing this shit.
Got it. Okay, let's go to see what Jesse Waters has to say here.
They broke the ceasefire, so we unloaded about a 2-week bombing campaign on the coastline to degrade their ability to attack the strait. And it worked. Levin attacked a tanker in the strait for 5 straight days. So at the briefing by Brad Cooper, not the actor, CENTCOM commander, he told the president, we're out of targets. We've hit everything on that coastline. The only next step would be to just knock off the rest of the targets that we saved during Epic Fury throughout the rest of the country. And the president said, all right, you know what? Let's pause it. People are telling me, why don't we give peace one more chance? So I guess they're back to talks. And now here's what the talks are about. A toll is not a toll. A toll can be a service fee, like the Strait of Malacca. They want to make that the Strait of Hormuz. So Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, they do like an environmental service fee for a few boats. It's not like a blanket toll, but at least it would make the Iranians save face. Now, while we talk, we're still bringing back a lot of firepower, and some special operators are now in theater. So that'll be interesting. We had Kellogg on the other day, and he said, you know what happens, Jesse, when you play sports? You let a team hang around a little too long, and then something happens. Ball bounces differently. Maybe someone gets hurt. The next thing you know, you're like, whoa. That's why he thinks you got to finish people off, and you got to finish them off quickly. Luckily, we got polling that says Republicans are trusted more on Iran than Democrats, and oil's now come from $100 to $87 a barrel, which is great, but there's still a lot of work to do.
You're going to buy the dip with the oil, Jesse?
What do you think? You agree?
I think that's what I said. That's exactly what I said. You've exhausted the amount of targets you can do in this kind of bombing campaign. You have to go for everything you didn't get in Epic Fury. You can't go back. This sounds like a J.D. Pence type of plan. No, well, you know, a plan is not a fee. Maybe we should have to have a little blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. The people that are doing it in Malacca have always done it for the exact same reason. And the people that did it in Malacca didn't get their toll by firing at people and killing people. The people at Malacca didn't kill 40,000 of their own people, 50,000, 60,000. I think it's probably closer to 70. Like, no. The people that did it in Malacca haven't been lying about every fucking deal they've ever made. No, this stinks of J.D. Vance. This new plan to maybe let them have a toll stinks of J.D. Vance. And I'll tell you one more fucking thing. The problem I have is how much will oil go for? How much would your fucking precious oil go for if they spin up 1,000 Wuhans, which are a lot easier to do than uranium, and you have 100 missiles loaded that could hit anywhere? They don't even need missiles. They can use one of these fucking sad penguins. 100 of these female sad penguins, infect them with something, They could spin off 100 Wuhans, 1,000 Wuhans, get these sad penguins to go all outside of their borders and cause 100 more COVIDs, 1,000 more COVIDs. I don't give a fuck about the oil because your oil prices are going to spike a lot more if that happens. You want to be locked up again? You want to be stuck in your home where you can't even fucking work again? You're going to leave these people in power? You want to cry to me about your fucking oil? What about your fucking freedom? You have to get rid of these people.
Perfectly said. Okay, speaking of getting rid of these people, listen to what President Trump said here, and let me know if you think that's what this is actually happening.
How stupid. No, you can't bribe them. You got to beat them, and we're beating the hell out of them. But we'll see how it turns out.
Are we beating the hell out of them? Because I think like your plan is closer to beating the hell out of them compared to what's actually happening right now.
I didn't see the enthusiasm in that crowd for what is being said there.
What? How would you fix that?
Bomb the rest of the targets, like Jesse Waters said.
Right. But do you think like everybody around him, like all the people, the conservatives seems to be pushing for that? So why do you think it's not happening? Like Mark Levin, Jesse Waters, I mean, Rubio wants this. Is this the influence of JD Vance people or something else?
Yes, Vice President JD Pence, a two-faced piece of shit that was already blaming and going against Trump on first and selling his book tour. That when he went on to Joe Rogan, as soon as he got back, he's whispering bullshit into the president's ear, now going into accepting some kind of toll for Iran to hold a toll, comparing it to Malacca, when as far as I know, Malacca didn't kill 60,000 of his own citizens. Malacca didn't shoot any boat that wouldn't pay. Malacca is not doing any of those things. So they made a stupid comparison to try to give violent people a way out. They shouldn't have a way out. Fuck the oil. What if they make 100, 1,000 Wuhan labs and start spreading their bullshit all across the globe? So how are you going to stop that? You have to get rid of these people.
Got it. Amir gave us a super chat saying 200 days since January 9th. Ja Vietnam. It's been 200 days. 200 days exactly. Well, thank you, Amir, for telling us this. Yeah, and Ja Vietnam's. We have, yeah. Can't believe it has already been 200 days. Oh my God. Thank you. I'm hearing something strange on Fox News. I want to see what you guys think about this, guys. Like, people are saying Lindsey Graham was changing his mind. Let me see.
They'll never have a nuclear weapon. They understand that. And we have had some very good talks. And very interesting with Lindsey. He was very much a hawk, as you would say, on Iran. And over the last few weeks, I would say that he became like, if you could make a deal, it's better making a deal in this case than just destroying the rest of the country. We've destroyed most of it, frankly. But he was somebody that said it's a good time to make a deal. Nice time to make a deal.
So President Trump is saying Lindsey Graham was a hawk, but at the end, he preferred a deal rather than destroying the infrastructure. Nice time to make a deal. What do you make of this, Monkey?
Bullshit. Lies.
You say President Trump is lying?
Absolutely, I think he's fucking lying.
Why would he be lying here?
Because he wants a deal. And he wants to convince the people that follow Lindsey that he wanted a deal. Bullshit.
But wouldn't that be a disgusting thing to do, to put lies in your friend that just died? If that's
this
the
is
case?
Politics. I don't buy it for a sec. I'm not emotional. And I know how unemotional people work. You have to be unemotional to be a businessman sometimes. You have to especially be in politics. You have to take advantage of everything you can. I think it's absolute and utter lies. I don't hate the guy, but I think he's lying because he wants a deal. And right now, he'll say anything to get anyone on board with a deal. This obsession with a deal Like I'm telling you, people say that MAGA people worship Trump. That's Trumpsters. Trumpsters, no matter what he says, will support him. MAGA people, every time he talks about his Operation Warp Speed, they boo him. Because it's about make America great again. It's not about Trump. The person who most aligns with that is Trump. So he gets the most support. When he says something like that, I bet you anything. If he says that we're going to make a deal, you're not going to hear a lot of applause. I bet you anything. If you ask the people, like the conservatives, if you go around interviewing them, they don't want a deal. I don't believe a second of this. I don't believe it for a second.
Okay, let me listen to it again one more time.
They'll never have a nuclear weapon. They understand that. And we have had some very good talks, and very interesting with Lindsey. He was very much a hawk, as you would say, on Iran. And over the last few weeks, I would say that he became like, if you could make a deal, it's better making a deal in this case than just destroying the rest of the country. We've destroyed most of it, frankly. But he was somebody that said it's a good time to make a deal, nice time to make a deal. They'll never have it.
Yeah. So that was that. We have a super chat with I think a good question. Arash is saying, why vice president influencing POTUS foreign policy this much? Monkey, I think you're the best person to respond.
They do that a lot. Like vice presidents do get a lot into making
Dick
those
Cheney.
kind of trips. Yeah, they
Cheney.
do that a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because a lot of people's understanding is that the vice president is not that important, but Dick Cheney and J.D. Vance are showing that that's not the case, right? Maybe they could be very influential. And thank you for the super chat. Let me see. Let's go to President Trump here. See what he said over here.
Are you concerned about depleted stockpiles if there is a broadening conflict in Iran?
Wait, the question. Let me read the caption because the audio is saying we have a lot of. Okay, so the question is regarding lack of ammunition, because there was reports that the pause was because of certain missile interceptors that are running low. So the reporter is asking, is that your concern?
Are you concerned about depleted stockpiles if there is a broadening conflict in Iran?
We have plenty. We have a lot of ammunition, different types. Biden gave a lot to Ukraine, and so we're building that up. But we have a lot. We have a lot of the mid-level stuff too. I mean, more than we could ever use, no matter what. But we have a lot. I'd like to have more, to be honest. But so much was given to Ukraine by Biden. When I left, the cupboards were full. When I came here with Obama, he didn't buy ammunition. We had very little. And I got it built. Now, as soon as I left, they gave a lot of it to Ukraine. I mean numbers that nobody's ever seen before. So we're building it very rapidly. Plants are being built. A lot of equipment is being built. The Patriots in particular are being built. The THAAD system is going up. We have a lot. Every one of our contractors is building 4 to 5 plants right now. And we're in very good shape. But for some of the more sophisticated stuff, we'd certainly like to have more. Biden gave a lot of it away.
Can we just ask, can we also get the Ukrainians to help? Because Ukrainians also are building their own defense system that is very, very effective and a lot more cost efficient. Can the Ukrainians actually be paid to come here and help with the defense with their more efficient, cheaper systems? Or is that a completely different kind of defense system?
It's a different kind of defense system. You're hitting the nail on the head. What we gave Ukraine, we should have been rebuilding, right? What he's saying, look, when Obama didn't give him anything, I helped him out. Biden gave them too much of our crucial systems that are very hard to rebuild. Like the stuff we gave Ukraine, the reason we gave it to Ukraine, because then and now they can't build it. It needs huge factories. Russia would know where it is, and they would strike it immediately. So the type of missiles we gave them, they can't build. It's easier for us to give that to them than for them to build it. I don't think they're capable of it. No, and I don't think we would give them the technology to make them, because that's very, very proprietary for these private companies, and they're not just gonna license that out. So that's one of the things that's being touched on here. So I think that's what he's talking about. Like, we should, yeah, like, it wasn't wrong to give it to them. What's wrong is not refilling your stockpile. That's what he's complaining about, of Biden not refilling the stockpile. And I don't like people are very angry with Trump because of his, like, it seems like he's waffling. Oh, I thought you said that you're the one that gave them everything. They said no. What was being said is that Obama gave nothing. Trump gave some weaponry, and he didn't refill. That's kind of like what has been said, if you follow it. And I don't know if Vance has talked about it, but if you think Trump micromanages every speech JD Vance gives, you're retarded. Like, I don't know what to do with you. That's why you delegate things. And I don't like what has been delegated to JD Vance. He's not talking about these situations. He's more on the side of making deals and stuff. I think this is the correct conversation. We need to talk about refilling our stockpiles. We need to talk about having the ability to hit them, and then just flat out hitting them.
Yeah. I'm gonna play this one because I want to see what our enemies are thinking about the current situation with Iran, and I think he's also talking about the low munitions. I want to see what they are saying on the other side about this. But before that, we got a super chat from Danny. Danny saying it would be cool if one day you guys could translate some Manuk Khodabakhshian videos. It would provide some great insight and perspective. His predictions and analysis were spot on. I don't know if they were spot on or not. I have to look into it, because I think, like, I know what you're talking about, because I see so many videos from Manuk that match from years ago, that match exactly what's happening. But I don't know if it's because of selective bias.
I think
because usually it's
there's an audio issue.
Oh, do you guys hear me?
The mic is sounding like if it was like not disconnected, but crackling. Yeah, it's crackling.
1 second. Still like that?
Nope, it's gone. It's better. I don't hear it
Okay.
anymore. The crackling is gone.
Okay. Crackling gone?
Yeah, you're back to normal. It would only happen for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe less
Okay.
than that.
Thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so regarding Manuk, I suspect that there might be some selective bias happening there, where he said so many things, but I don't know. Okay, I have seen some videos of him that are so impressive, like, oh my god, years ago he said this and it happened. But it's also true that sometimes people predict so many things, and then after the fact, people just highlight the ones that worked out. So there's that. But I haven't done my research, and then also I don't know if it would be like spending our live stream translating the videos might take a lot of time, and it would be just better to just look at what's happening right now instead of like what somebody said would happen and happen. But yeah, Manuk is very interesting, and a lot of Iranians love him for sure. And thank you, Danny, for the super chat. Anyways, let's see what this man. Oh, by the way, Manuk Khodabakhshian was a huge fan of President Trump before he died, like a huge fan. And he said he believed that. Okay, so Manuk believed that President Trump had planned everything step by step years ago, and everything is going according to his well-designed plan. Like that's what he thought, and then he died. Okay, let me see what.
Okay, it's torture time, gang. So get ready.
Torture time. Sorry.
And this is a disputed report. It's a rumor. One reason is that apparently the U.S. is running low on missile interceptors. And I heard this from a few different places. This is a rumor. that increasingly the United States is having to pick and choose where and when we shoot down Iranian drones and ballistic missiles, because we have to now economize on the systems and the munitions that intercept those projectiles. And so the reason, for example, that you're seeing more U.S. casualties, a lot of injured, and about a half dozen more dead is because Iranian drones and missiles are breaking through. They're
Okay, let's
actually making
stop right
impact.
there.
They are in.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay,
Yep,
one problem with that is that what was said about that was not that. The last reporting we have on that is that we were not operating those systems, and we believe that the people were operating those defense systems weren't fast enough to respond, and that if we had been operating, our response times is much higher, and we would have had a better effect. So on the situation in Jordan, he's probably either lying or misinterpreting. I lean towards lying because he's usually smart enough to know the difference. But that's not the reason why that happened in Jordan. Go ahead.
Wait, sorry, can you explain this to me again? Like, what was the reason it happened in Jordan? Because let me know if this is correct or not. My understanding is that in Jordan, the reason why the missiles went through was not lack of munition, was because the Jordanians were operating the system instead of Americans. Am I wrong?
That's exactly what I said. What I was saying was
Okay.
that the operators on the ground were not Americans. They don't have the same response time. It's
Yes.
like it's not the same to give you a NASCAR and say go around the track, see how fast you do it, than let a NASCAR driver go around. You're like, this is simple. It's just a circle. No. They know exactly when to hit the gas. They know exactly when to brake. So they'll get
Right.
across that same track faster. The response time on a well-trained operator, especially one of ours, is much higher, and response times is crucial when you're intercepting missiles.
Yes, this is. See, guys, if you have a, Monkey keeps talking about how your systems need to be merit based. This is the beauty of capitalism. If your country is a capitalistic country, it ends up becoming merit based. Like, you don't have to force it to be merit based. It will just, there's so much competition that it becomes merit based. Like if you have capitalism, right? And that's why U.S. military works so much better, because it's just so much competition. And let's continue.
Some cases killing people, wounding people, damaging military infrastructure, civilian infrastructure. Iran is claiming that they've destroyed a significant amount of U.S. aircraft. They're claiming credit for strikes on civilian infrastructure in the Gulf countries. And so I imagine there's some truth to this, that the United States, having to economize, has to actually now allow some drones and missiles to impact.
Okay. One
Because
more
they're
stop
running low.
here. Did you see that, how he slid in? I imagine there's some truth, but he slid in, IRGC says. So he's mixing some truth to what the IRGC says. But like if you're looking at the nuance, no, he's talking about some truth to missing missiles. But because he mixed it in with the statement that the IRGC that says that they hit up a number of planes on the tarmac. As far as I know, they haven't destroyed one single plane because of their air attacks. That's absolutely false. But he is sliding the statement about the IRGC to the statement of him believing claims of depleted missile. If you go back a little bit, you'll see how he slides it all in together. It's very deceptive.
That's a good catch, Monkey. Good catch. Let's go back a little bit.
Military infrastructure, civilian infrastructure. Iran is claiming that they've destroyed a significant amount of U.S. aircraft. They're claiming credit for strikes on civilian infrastructure in the Gulf countries. And so I imagine there's some truth to this, that the United States, having to economize, has to actually now allow some drones and missiles to impact.
You see how he mixes them?
Low.
Yep. Good catch.
Other sources have disputed this, and they're saying that's not true. Trump has sort of gone both ways. Trump said, no, we don't have a problem with that. We have plenty of interceptors. But Trump is also saying, well, we'd like more, however. We sent them all to Ukraine. We wish we had more than we do. There's not a lot of clarity, but I'm sure that this is true. There have been various estimates that we burned through half or 2/3 of our stockpile of Patriot missile batteries that we might use to intercept those drones and missiles. So probably that is a big reason. And what explains this is that what we are doing to Iran is not actually having a real impact. We hit 13,000 targets in the first 5 to 6 weeks of the fighting. We hit another 1,000 targets in the past 2 weeks.
I don't know what it means, not a real impact. Every analysis shows that the Islamic Republic has never been this weak. Like, they have never been closer to collapse than now. What do you mean, no impact? How do you getting no impact?
I think, like, if I'm going to steal, man, I would say that the impacts we did 2 days ago aren't making that much of a difference from a week ago. Like, this last week of impact, okay, maybe if we hit them again, it's not going to make that much of an impact, but only if we stick to this target pattern. If the target list changes or is amplified, then it would have a lot of impact. Because we have seen Fox say this.
Yeah, so there's the decreasing marginal return on investment in the south, hitting the south targets. That's basically.
And in spite of all these attacks, Iran still has so many anti-ship missiles, drones, other projectiles that they are attacking multiple ships in the Strait every day. It's not meaningfully making a difference.
So
This
it is true that
not every day.
Not every day. That part is not. That part is false, and but there's a part that there's a truth and a false. Because a lot of people thought that most of the missiles were destroyed, because there was an accurate report that, I don't know what was the number, but like 90% of their launching capabilities were destroyed, and a lot of people assumed that means that 90% of their missiles were destroyed. But no, the reason why their launching capabilities were destroyed, but because they closed the entrance to their missile cities. The missiles were still sitting there, and then they still, once they opened it, they could still use them. So it is true that most of them, 2/3 of their missiles were still available.
They can also produce.
They can also produce, exactly. They actually, one thing the Islamic Republic has done, we have to admit, is that they have managed to figure out how to speed up their production rate, especially because they don't have to be that good to be able to cause insurance rates to go up and ships not to go through. So they're going with quantity more than quality. Especially
I blame China.
Yes, China. Exactly.
A difference. The reason it is costly then for us to carry out these attacks anyway, because you might say, well, why not just engage in this low-level conflict indefinitely? Who cares if it's working? Who cares if it takes us a long time? If they won't give up the Strait, let's just bomb them 10,000 times a day. Well, because Iran has more projectiles, they make them more quickly, and they make them more cheaply. So for every Patriot missile projectile that we have, they have 2 drones. And the drones are much cheaper, and they make them faster. Because Iran is a drone and missile superpower. They're a factory.
Stop it here for a second.
Superpower. Yeah.
This also ignores that we're going into different capabilities. We're going into directed energy capabilities. We've started to use things like Apaches and slower aircraft and smaller missiles, because you could basically shoot down a Shahed with an F-16. If you want something slower, you can use you can use Apache helicopters, you can use Super Cobras, you can use Warthogs. That's a jet that you can use. You can even use a Super Tucano, which is a plane that looks pretty much like a P-51 Mustang from World War II. You remember those planes? I don't know if you remember them. They're very distinct World War II planes. Like, if you look up the P-51 Mustang and the Super Tucano, you're going to see, oh, these are pretty similar planes, but it's basically a propeller plane that has big guns on it and is perfect for this because it can stay in the air. It's not too fast. It would need some you wouldn't want to have any missile systems near, but you can definitely use it very easily to take out a bunch of drones. So we do have these systems. You could basically launch and spark a Super Tucano or 2 in any of these in any of these carriers because you don't even need a grappling hook to grab it, or you don't need a catapult to launch it. These are super light planes. So we are shifting. The biggest shift is to directed energy, but we are changing the scope of the cost per kill rate, and that's something that he's not mentioning.
Somebody's saying the production capability they have is crippled. I did hear a report that, from Pete Hegseth, that their factories, the supply chain that goes, so they couldn't reach the missile cities under the layers of granite under these mountains. Like when they were bombing them, there were 33 missile cities, and they managed to get to 3 of them. So 30 of them, they were just mostly just closing and bombing the entrance so they don't have access to them, because they're like under like millions of years of, like literally millions of years of granite built up that it's really hard to get to. However, Pete Hegseth came out and said, like, well, okay, we're destroying the factories and all the supply chain of the stuff that goes into building those missiles. So I thought, like, okay, that's a smart way of dealing with this. So you can't get the missiles, but the parts of the missiles that are built outside the missile cities, the factories, all the supply chain that goes into that, they're hitting that. So I was under the impression that maybe that's a way for the United States to destroy their missile production capability. Is that still the understanding, or is that not the case?
As far as I remember, we did hit some places that probably were creating some of that dual use material, like well, I wouldn't say even dual use, some of the propellant, some of the places that we hit. One of the notable aspects is that we hit it and it kept exploding, and the explosions were huge. I believe I remember specifically 2 or 3 strikes like that. Like we hit something that blew up even bigger than the bomb that hit. At least 2 or 3, right? So that might be what that's about. But there's a lot of, like, you need steel. There's a lot of pieces that you need to make a rocket. And this is the theory, like, okay, if you can't to stop the archers, you start with hitting the place that takes the wood to the place that makes arrows. If you can't get the guy that's putting the feathers on the back tip of the arrow. Get the guy that's putting the tips in the arrow. Get the guy that's transporting the arrows to the war front. And if you can't get that, you get the archers. Those would be the missile launchers. And at the last line of defense, that's where your Patriot systems are and your directed energy weapons are. So you want to you want to start as farther back into that process as you can, but you want to be able to defend at any point and attack at any point of that.
Okay, let's finish this.
For this stuff. So it's a form of attrition. It's economics in the military domain. So if for 2 weeks we bomb them 1,000 times and we're not doing damage, but conversely, we're running out of interceptors and Iranian drones and missiles are killing people again, that Russian targeting data and advances in the terminal phase of Iran's missiles are making them harder to intercept, and we're running out of interceptors is causing service members to die and Saudi refineries to get destroyed and U.S. bases to get bombed and planes are being destroyed on the runways, then this is costly for us to bomb Iran. We're hitting them harder. We have more exquisite weapon systems, but it's hurting us more than it's hurting them. So this is a big reason why we stopped.
Okay, so this is in line with trying to make your audience believe that United States is weak and the Islamic Republic inside Iran is strong. It's really, I'm noticing a lot of Nick Fuentes type people and Tucker Carlson type people. It's not just about analysis. They enjoy the content. They want the content that shows that the United States is losing and the Islamic Republic is winning. Have you noticed that, by the way? Like, this used to be, like, we used to see this a lot from leftists, but it's not just that their analysis that the United States is falling and being defeated. There's also a certain level of joy and I told you so moment. Like it seemed like they want these so-called America First people, to me seems like get a lot of joy out of America falling. What do you think?
Oh, I'm sorry. Got the wrong comment. This is the one I was looking for. Sorry, this is the one. 100% subversive. Yes, they're very subversive. They want to subvert your attention from any win. They want to subvert they want to subvert your and they want to subvert your support for the war. Absolutely, I agree. The only difference is this guy is not covering for Russia. He kind of like doesn't like Russia, or sometimes doesn't like them. But other than that, I would say Tucker is a shill for Russia. I don't know if they got all the same funding. Like you don't have to fund them directly to, have IRGC make an account that says America First, Durka hater, or 105 and send them money, but you're actually Nyack or Nair. You understand what I'm saying? Like you don't have to have direct contact to fund the ideology and support it. Send them 100, 200, 300 every show.
He doesn't support Russia, but it's worse than Tucker because he supports the Islamic Republic. Like in his previous shows, like when during the 40-day war, he was hoping that the Islamic Republic would win, thinking that if the United States crashes, it will bring United States like back to his senses more. That was his justification. And at some point, I remember he was getting frustrated with the Islamic Republic, saying, "Where are your ballistic missiles? Like, stop talking all the time. Just throw your missiles." It's like so ironic that he has an America First hat next to him while on his show getting frustrated with the Islamic Republic for why they're not using more ballistic missiles.
Well, he wanted them to hit Israel. He was making fun of them because he was like, he's saying like, oh my God, the drama in Iran is which Quran verse they are gonna play while certain countries pass by. And he's like, what are you doing? Why aren't you just launching all your missiles? Why are you talking all this shit? Oh my God, you're such a badass because you played this verse instead of that verse when this country passed the stage. Get the fuck out of here. This is kayfabe. What are you doing? You call this strength? This is how I would say it. This is high school drama type shit. Like, well, what are you doing? Why aren't you launching? And I don't support his sentiment in that they should just launch everything at Israel. Of course not. But I do understand why he says the IRGC are acting like a bunch of high school girls, gossiping and having snide remarks instead of like direct talk.
Oh, we got a super chat. Unk alert. Oh no, it's a super chat. It's
I'm beyond Unk. I'm like Grandpa alert.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. All right, let's go back to President Trump. I have so much more Nick Fuentes talking about Iran, but I will spare you guys. I know you guys don't like it. Let me know because I have some more Nick Fuentes videos talking about Iran. I like the reason, guys. I know you guys, some of you don't like it, but let me know in the chat because I think like if we just keep playing things that we agree with, this turns into an echo chamber. I like to see the most popular sources of arguments against our takes and go through it with each other. Do you guys think that's a good thing to do? And I have more. I have more of that, like Nick Fuentes talking about his takes about Iran. But I'll spare you guys and let me know in the chat. So Ryan is saying no more Nick Fuentes. Okay, guys, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure we don't have a. Oh, see, Sean is saying I like the Nick videos. Yeah, I'm just trying to use them to make sure we don't become an echo chamber and we consider other positions and see what other people are saying about this. Right? Let me know. Is that a good idea?
My favorite has to be Hashem, take me, make me Jewish. Yeah. That's my favorite so far. I don't want to be like these people.
You know what I can do is I can basically not do it back to back, so you guys get a little bit of a break from him, and then if you want, I can go back to him. Yeah, okay. So, okay, we'll do a break. I know he's annoying.
You said that Iranian assets will be used to pay for damages to ships that are hit in the Strait of Hormuz. Would the U.S. pay shipping companies directly?
No, we're going to use Iran's money to pay for the damage they did. In other words, the Iran money that we control will be used to pay for damages. Sound good? Not bad, right? It should be reported.
You know, if we normalizing taking the Islamic Republic's oil and paying for damages, the next step would be to taking their oil and funding the government in exile against the
Yes.
Islamic Republic. Yes.
Look, I think that's gonna be the next step.
I think
Like
that
I
this
want
seems
it to be. This is bias on my part, but I think it'll happen.
I'm so with you there. I'm so with you there. And I'm hoping that the reason this might be a step in between to take their money for damages, and then Mark Levin coming out and talking about the idea of taking their assets and giving it to the government in exile under the leadership of Princess of Pahlavi. It's all a step-by-step plan to eventually go to this plan that we're talking about, Monkey. Hopeful. I mean, we can be hopeful that maybe this
Yeah.
is the direction we're going.
I think this is why I think it. There's literally how many alternatives to it? I don't see any good alternative that leaves the IRGC with any kind of power.
Right. You start 2 comments you wanted to highlight?
I did. And I wanna like shed some light on this. Okay. Now, here's what Chana is saying. All right. I said I wanted variety. He's just better than Piers. And here's why he's better with Piers. Nick is just one asshole. When you get Piers, it's usually 3 or 4. Am I right? You don't just get one dumbass. It's usually 3 dumbasses. So you're like, you rated more people. Another thing here is something that I would be willing to work with you on if you wanted some good clips on this type of thing. We need some Asmongold. I think you'd kind of like him. He's kind of like a middle of the road American, not super well informed on this stuff, but he has Iranian friends.
What?
And
you
his
think I
Iranian
kind of like him? You think I would like him? Haven't I
I think
praised
you
him
would.
already? You
I
haven't
think you
praised
have.
him?
That's one of the reasons.
I love Asmongold. What are you talking about? You think you would like
I'll
him?
try. I'll do my best to find some good clips, and we'll bring them up. And you, Sean, and me will all be very happy.
I love Asmongold. Well, you know I love him. I showed his segments sometimes. I would love more Iran.
Chat.
Iran.
Remember,
yes.
For anyone that's new, this has happened. Like we have. Actually, I think Asmongold also praised Goldie, who's one of our friends. So that's cool too. And while we're here, we might as well let everyone know Kevin helping out here, gifting a membership. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, Asmongold, Iran related. If we could get short clips, we'd love to share them. And also, did Shauna say she doesn't like Piers Morgan? Is that what she said?
No. She said that she likes Nick better than Piers.
Okay.
Yeah, you see? You see? I see at least 2 assholes in this picture. I don't know who the other guy is, but I see at
this
least
is for
2.
you, Shana. Yeah,
Bungholes.
Shana, you did. You said you prefer. I know. I love you, Shana. This is for you. All right, let's see.
I'm just not focused on, because I don't have the information on what is going on day by day. But I still have that sense of optimism because it's something that I think was. I do.
Steve,
Because, well, in the sense
I say,
of
do
hoping.
you? I say, do you? Well, I'm slightly incredulous on 2 points. One, that you want to be governor of this gigantic state, but have no idea what's happening with the biggest news story in the world on a daily basis. And secondly, that you've got hope this is all going to end well. I'd find that slightly
I have no
implausible. Now,
influence
Mehdi,
over it.
you wanted to jump in.
No, I just want to say, Piers, to your
no,
point, I don't have any influence over it. I'm focused on the job I'm applying for, and that really has nothing
So they're telling him he doesn't know much about Iran.
to do with that. That's my point.
Couple of things to respond to Steve. Couple of things. I think he said 3 or 4 times, I'm focused on the job in California. I mean, Steve Hilton was on Fox Business, Steve. You were on Fox Business 2 weeks ago. I watched it. You were on Fox Business talking specifically about Iran, defending Donald Trump's Iran war strategy. You didn't go on Fox Business and say to them what you said to Piers just now. You didn't say, I'm focused on California. I don't want to talk about Iran. You've mounted a very vociferous defense of Donald Trump's Iran war strategy. You said Iran will collapse or come to their senses. So you were a big defender of the Iran war
That's my
2
hope.
weeks ago.
That's exactly
not
what I
3,
just
4
said.
months ago. But don't say that you're not focused on Iran. You literally
No,
went on Fox to talk about Iran.
I think the
right?
point
So,
is.
So and let me just finish my other point. Let me just finish my other point. On Iran and the people of Iran, of course, we all want the people of Iran.
Did you notice something? Stop it for a second. So here's the lie. Oh, if you make this comment on a show about your support for Trump's strategy, that means you're not focusing on California. This guy says that's just what I did here. I said here, like I support his strategy. That doesn't mean like because I talk about this for 5 minutes on a show that I can't also have another 23 hours in the day. Even if I talked about it for an hour, I still have 23 hours of the day to dedicate to California. This is a false equivalency that because you make a comment on a show about not being super informed but supporting Trump's strategy, that means that you're not focusing on California. It's bullshit allegation.
Yeah. And also, if you have an opinion on something, and you're allowed to have opinions on things without being an expert on it. You know that, right, guys? You know that, right? You could also be skeptical about your opinion, and just like, this is my take, and I'm not an expert, so I might be wrong about this. But you don't have to hold back and say like, well, this is what my hope is. This is what I think is happening. And then here's what happens. You make an opinion. You're not an expert on it, but you do your best. And then some people call you out and say like, do you know this? And then you don't know it. And like, why don't you know it? You're like, well, because I'm focusing on this other thing. That's why I don't know that level of detail. And like, well, if you don't know that level of detail, why did you comment about it over there? Well, because I'm allowed to have opinions on things without being an expert on things. And I will acknowledge that I'm not an expert. Like, this is not a contradiction.
Yeah, just like I'm not an expert on pit bulls, but I still don't think you should cut their ears off.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's disgusting. People do that. Why do
some
people
do that? I don't agree with it. I don't know if it hurts. I don't know what it does, but I don't like it.
That's vile. That's vile. Okay.
To have dignity, to have human rights. But you're supporting a president who a couple of months ago threatened genocide against Iran. He said, I'm going to destroy the entire civilization tonight. Did you condemn him for that? In fact, in the last few days, he said, anytime Iran attacks a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, I will blow up a power plant or a bridge. That is a war crime, Steve. You can't just blow up power plants and bridges.
That's another lie.
Because you don't like the...
Explain.
For a power plant to be a civilian power plant, it can't be dual use. If you're using your power plant to make missiles, if you're using your power plants to power a missile factory or a missile city or send the power underground to a bunker, that's now a dual use target. That's no longer just a civilian plant. So when he says this, he's lying, and he knows he's lying.
Yeah. I mean, why doesn't he not get called out on shows like this? Because he's relying on other people not knowing that, right?
Okay, for the audience, Armin already knows this, but Piers does this form of censorship where he calls his show uncensored, but what he does is he leaves the side that he agrees with to speak without censorship, and anybody that pushes back, he says, hold on, and starts interrupting them. So that's why this guy is not getting any pushback on the left, and the guy of the right will be was interrupted by Mehdi, and Piers did nothing, right? And if and Piers himself will interrupt the guy on the right if he doesn't agree with it. So this is, Piers Morgan censored. He's just the censor. You should call it Piers Morgan the censor. That's what the show should be called.
Yes. All right, let's continue.
Opponent strategy. That's against all the laws of war. So will you condemn...
That's against all the laws of war. Somebody saying it so confidently, and know it's not.
We're not bound by any law of war. Like, we didn't sign any contract that says that we can be ruled from the outside. We have our own personal laws that we follow about how we operate. And I'm sure we're following our standards of what is a civilian plant. And I'm sure it's dual use, and that's why we're hitting it.
Yeah. Why would you have to abide by agreements that you never signed? Make that make sense.
No, I'm going to make a deal over here with my cat, and we're going to agree that you have to give me half of your morning tea.
I'm gonna sign a deal with this goat over here that monkey has to. I don't know. I don't want to say it. We'll figure it out. Okay. Me and this goat.
You're gonna
will
take
make
half
a
my
deal.
tools, so I can't fix the tanks.
Right. There you go.
Civilization tonight. Did you condemn him for that? In fact, in the last few days, he said, anytime Iran attacks a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, I will blow up a power plant or a bridge. That is a war crime, Steve. You can't just blow up power plants and bridges, civilian targets, because you don't like the opponent's strategy. That's against all the laws of war. So will you condemn Donald Trump for doing that? If you actually care about the Iranian people, why would you support a war that targets civilian infrastructure? Those are war crimes.
So
No, they're
the
not.
point I was just simply making, and is
Even if you did sign these agreements, even under those standards, these are not war crimes. And honestly, like if anybody who accuses United States and Israel of war crimes, if that is true, then everybody, like basically all countries in every war, are committing war crimes, because Israel and United States avoid civilian casualties more than almost all other countries. So if they are doing war crimes, then war as a whole is just war crime. Then all war is war crime.
My response would have been they should have been destroyed already because they're dual use and aiding the military, so they're not civilian. They're dual use and should be destroyed already. Trump is kind of being soft here. Like I'd go in the other direction.
Yeah,
it would drive them nuts because I would have replied so fast they can't do anything. Or they'll go far. I'll say.
distant one, which is that I, as at the start of this, all the way through, and now hope, as you do, that it will end with the removal of a regime that has brutally terrorized its people. As to the day-by-day operational conduct and the communication around that conduct, obviously that's nothing that is to do with the role of the governor of California, which is 100% my focus.
Yeah, I mean, that
I
guy,
think he kind of got
this
him
guy
there.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice. Like these people are being a dick to him, and he's just being so casual and so, sweet and like just calm.
Look at this smug face of Pierce over there. Oh my god.
Yeah,
disgusting. Like he's looking like he's like your disappointed father or something. Get the fuck, man. I don't like that guy.
Right. All right, let's go to this one. This got a lot of
I start a
attention.
comment just to keep it on topic where Sassi says Pierce may be mech paid too. You know what? Who knows? Could be. What
I
we
don't
got
know
here?
if he is, but if he is, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. And Amir gave us a super chat saying, Mehdi Hassan, how many times you fell into a well at your childhood? I mean, is he the Mehdi? Joking, Piers Morgan still fried. Yes. What does that mean? But yeah, is into a well? Like the Mahdi? The Mahdi fell twice. Are you calling him the Mahdi? But yes. Thank you, Amir. Oh no. By the way, guys, don't give people ideas. What if he's not funded by the MEK and now we just planted an idea in their head? I'm just kidding. Let's continue.
He knew he didn't have the authority to arrest Netanyahu, but went out and said it anyway.
Oh, they're talking about Netanyahu and Mehdi Hassan announcing that he's going to arrest Netanyahu when he came to New York.
Mandami.
He knew he didn't.
Mandani.
He knew he didn't have the authority to arrest Netanyahu, but went out and said it anyway. And was that all political theater?
I think he drew attention to the fact that Netanyahu is literally a war criminal. This guy's policies led to the deaths of tens of thousands of Palestinian children. And that defines a war crime to me and to so many people around the world.
Are you the defining factor? Like, are you the authority?
The international
what is a war criminal?
Court, look, the International Criminal Court should mean something.
We're not a party to it.
It doesn't mean
It
anything.
still should mean something to the
To who?
entire world.
Yeah, this woman is telling this woman is making your point, Monkey, right? She's like, when
I love her. I didn't see her. I haven't seen her, but sending blessings.
Monkey falls in love very easily.
Defining factor.
No, not like that.
Especially-
Not like that. I'm an old man. It's more like for like uncle, grandpa. Hey, good going, kids.
Sure, but okay.
Are you the
What if she looks like a banana like the other lady? Then it's different.
Well, if she has the banana hair and is single and is nice and likes me back, then maybe we can have a banana smoothie.
authority?
That's a lot of
Is a war
conditions.
criminal?
Yes. Okay, let's search this.
Like, are you the authority?
The international
What is a war criminal?
Court, look, the International Criminal Court should mean something.
We're not a party
Nope.
to it.
It still should mean something to the
To who?
entire.
You know, first of all, you're not a party to it. Also, no, it shouldn't mean anything. Any party that considers any court that considers Netanyahu to be a war criminal is a joke. It should not only you're not a signatory to them, you're not a party to them. They're a joke. All the countries that are a party to them should stop.
World, because this is, look, what do you call a leader who authorizes this kind of killing? To me,
a hero, right?
Yeah, but this kind of killing, according to who? To whose evidence? Whose edict? You're believing a court that we're not signed to.
This this kind of killing is the killing of the enemies of civilization. Any leader that is responsible for the killing of this many enemies of civilization is a hero. That's what I would call them.
No. Okay, we have to engage with what the words he actually used. The words that he actually used, killing children. So you would have to accept, oh, he's killing children, but these are the enemies of civilization. I don't think that's what you're saying. I think you're saying that he's lying, that the International Criminal Court is lying about the targets. So to engage in the argument, we have to say, okay, who is saying that those are the targets that were killed? That's a lie. That's how I would frame it, because I have to use his words against him. And the words he used is kill children. And I believe that's a lie. I believe we've probably seen a very low rate of civilian to combatant casualty ratio in the conflict in Gaza. So I would engage with that directly and say, I don't believe the international court's number. I don't believe their evidence. I don't believe you choose to believe this foreigner court, and you want to have a foreigner court by, I don't know, King George in England or the ICC in the Netherlands rule over us. Well, that's just because you being un-American. I don't have to accept your foreigner courts and their foreigner data. That's how I would frame it.
Pretty well said.
Killing. To me,
somebody who was he responding to something that happened to the Israeli people on October 7th?
There was a horrible massacre, terrorist attack on October 7th. Absolutely.
No, that's not a good defense. He didn't do anything wrong. He killed terrorists, and collateral damage was minimized more than most armies in the world. Pretty much more than anyone.
I would fight the fact that there were any children. I'm sure there were some children. No, but you give me the number. What's the number? What are you talking about? How many children? Where's the number? You're just accepting this foreigner court? We don't accept the court of King George. We stopped that in 1776, and we're not going to start it again, Mr. I hate the American independence. What are you doing here? You're here to bow down. You're going to get on your knees and zipper dive Netherlands courts. You're going to get on your knees and zipper dive the UK court. You're going to get on your knees and zipper dive. You're going to go 3 stories up and jump on that jumping board, just zipper dive these foreign courts. You're not American. You're un-American. That might be a little graphic. Sorry about that, Chad.
That's okay. 4 points. Israel had one of the lowest civilian to armed combatant terrorist ratios in Gaza after October 7th. They achieved that even though Gaza has the second highest population density in the world, even though their enemy doesn't wear military uniform on purpose when they're fighting Israel, because they know Israel cares about civilian life and tries to avoid them. And they don't wear the uniform that they have to make it more difficult for Israel. Right? That's a war crime, yes. They use human shield, and they admit it. And even with all of that, and also he talks about children, half of Gaza is children. Half of Gaza is children, half of the population. And even with all of that, Israel has managed to get one of the lowest civilian to combatant ratios when it comes to casualties, if you accept their numbers, if you accept their numbers of Hamas. Even with that number, you still get the lowest. Israel uses Israeli citizen tax money to subsidize water going into Gaza. Israel had a vaccine program in Gaza in the middle of the war to save the people in Gaza from disease. Israel moved more calories into a war zone than ever recorded in the history of warfare in the middle of a war, feeding these people, while Hamas was stealing it and selling it back triple the price. Israel has the roof knocking up strategy that every time before they bomb a building, they do an explosion above it so people could evacuate. Israel has a team of Arab-speaking Israelis in the IDF constantly calling inside Gaza, telling the people in Gaza where to go so that they could avoid the bombardment. Israel dropped leaflets inside Gaza with maps for people who can't read Arabic because they never learn how to read, with maps and directions on where to go to avoid the bombardment. Israel called once in, like I saw this, Israel called inside Gaza, tell people why are they, so the areas that were, but like look at this was in Arabic. So there was this IDF person calling inside to Gaza, and there was somebody on the other side in Gaza responded, and the IDF Arab speaking military person told the person in Gaza, why are you still there? Like the place I'm calling you, you know there's going to be bombardment, right? Like, why are you still there? Get out of there. The person in Gaza said, I can't leave. And the IDF person was like, why can't you leave? He said, because Hamas will shoot at us. Like, Hamas was cutting off roads, people in Gaza trying to leave the bombardment area, blocking them so they stay under the bombardment, calling the people in Gaza traitors if they leave. Not only
So they're
that,
hostages.
Israel, yes, exactly. Israel risked the lives of their own soldiers going into Gaza, removing the blockades of the people leaving, fighting Hamas so that the people could leave the bombardment, the areas being bombarded. Israel also many times used missiles with explosive powers smaller than what they should have been using, trying to reduce civilian casualties, and terrorists got away. There are many operations that Israel identified a leading Hamas leader surrounded by civilians, and because they were civilians, they used missiles with lower explosive powers. And some of these missions, because the explosion was not that big, that terrorist leader got away and eventually managed to cause a lot more headache for Israel. And some of these people eventually were responsible for October 7th. So there's some criticism for Israel even sometimes that you're too careful. Israel did brain surgery on Yahya Sinwar, saving his life. The leader, the brains behind October 7th terrorist genocide on October 7th. They saved his life, the person that did October 7th. This is Israel. So if Israel is doing war crimes, then I don't know, everybody is doing war crimes. Like, if that is a definition of a war criminal, then just give up having an army. Like, then being in war then is a war crime. Then why do we even have a military if they can't do that?
I'd like to also point out something I'm seeing here from the chat. Hamas has child soldiers. Pretty sure that's a war crime, right? Having children, training up children, giving them guns, training them for war, and indoctrinating and propagandizing them and arming them and teaching them for that kind of reason is very much a war crime. I also remember sending you, like I'm sure you already saw some of these, around 4 or 5 videos that show that when these people talk about knocking down buildings, is because these buildings are left useless, riddled with booby traps. So they become launch sites they themselves have to work through a whole bunch of booby traps to get to their launch platforms, and those buildings have to be destroyed. You can't just go in there and clear them because they're riddled with explosive and booby traps. So this is not an easy thing to do. So thank you for the comment, Roman Banking. I'm also seeing a comment here by one of our friends of the discussion group. I thought it very important. It's a conversation with a number of members that says, if you only know a little bit about the war, then you are overwhelmed by confirming Orwell, who wrote, the mark of anti-Semitism is the ability to believe in what couldn't possibly be true. Like it lets you believe basically anything, like the conspiracy theories, the kind of things that an anti-Semite can believe is just astounding. And I pretty much echo that sentiment with Orwell, and thank thank Gayward for the quote.
Yes, yeah, we got 2 super chats from Zipcon. Do you want to read them as well?
Absolutely. Zipcon, thank you very much. Says, I love the candidate's positions, but with that English accent, I don't think he has a chance of winning. Oh, this is for California. I think he was a candidate in California, and I do believe he has more conservative positions. I have seen him before. Oh, does he have a chance of winning? Okay.
No, do you think English accent would have an impact, negative impact in California?
It could help. I mean, I don't know if it could help or hurt. The problem with California is the cheating. That's the problem in California. I think California is kind of ready for a change, but the way they work the elections, it's just fully corrupt and rotted. I don't know how anyone could win. It's very tough for a conservative to win in California. Let me see over here. Zipcon says, de Blasio is a thief and a criminal. I would believe that. I would, you know what? By what I've seen of him, I wouldn't doubt it.
Okay, I don't know much about that, but thank you for that. I think I'm done with this video. I think I want to see this one. This seemed like it got a lot of attention.
The leakers. Every leak that we have read about has been true and come to fruition, whether it's the draft of the MOU, where you say it's Iranian propaganda. It's actually the MOU. The first set of leaks went to the Atlantic, and that looked like it was J.D. Vance's team. This set of leaks, which is supposedly about J.D. Vance being concerned about munitions and General Kane, is in the Times and the Wall Street Journal. You don't think that after going through months of this, having to go after Iran over and over again when it was billed as maybe just a few weeks, hasn't depleted our munitions, and that China isn't looking at Taiwan or
Jessica,
everything
you don't
looks
even
great.
know
Jesse,
anything about Taiwan, okay?
I don't.
You don't even know anything
What do you know about Taiwan?
I'll tell you what. You know what, Jessica? The munitions that we used, imagine we had waited 10 years until a Democrat was president. And then we started fighting Iran. And then we started fighting Iran. That was the whole point of the operation, because if you let them build up these missile silos, then you're never going to be able to take out the nuclear program. It's better we did it now than never. That's the argument.
All right, Tyron.
That's such a good point. If you're like, oh, we're running out of this, running out of that, then imagine how worse, imagine where we would be if you just allowed the Islamic Republic to keep building its missile arsenal, and then you just have to deal with them like nobody would be able to deal with them ever. If it's difficult now, imagine if nobody did anything about it. These arguments are not good arguments for why we shouldn't have attacked the Islamic Republic. These are good arguments for why we didn't do it earlier. Like these arguments are the best arguments for what President Trump says, that somebody should have taken care of this before it even got to this point.
Yes, but that skipped over her central point. Her central point is the leaks tend to be true. We have 3 sources of leaks saying that our missile capacity is going down. He completely skipped over that argument and went into it's better that we use it now than later, which doesn't address the question, are the leaks true? Are we running low on missiles? That was masterful of him. Like usually you have to point it out when our guys do it or their guys do it. Like it is what it is. But if you're observing That's not what she was. She wasn't talking about Taiwan. She wasn't talking about is it better to do it now or later, even if it depletes our munition. Her question was, are these leaks true? Have we been somewhat depleted? That was the central point, and she was pointing at a pattern of the leaks tending to be true. So if you look at it that way, then what you have to say is maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but better they be used now for this than anything else, and better we start working on ways to deplete it, to restock faster, and ways to switch defense systems to better technologies. Better that we have this problem now than later. Like I could have just accepted it. Like I could have said everything he said and said, well, let's say it's true, and said everything he said without having to skip the argument. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, so you could say, let's just accept that assumption, but it is true or not, then say that. Yeah, that's masterful, by the way, Monkey. You should be on these panels. Good job.
Look, I'm not as handsome as Jesse Waters. Let's just be real. I'm I got a cute little fuzzy tail. I got big monkey ears, but I mean, I'm no Jesse Waters.
All right, let's see what Princess of Pahlavi said. I just saw this, that this is being shared around, so let's see what he says here.
Take place and let the people of Iran choose. But from where we're sitting today, when do you think regime change might occur?
I think we are very close to it. And the reason I say this is because, first and foremost, the regime is at its weakest it's ever been since 47 years. Not to mention the fact that in terms of legitimacy, it has totally lost any remaining possible legitimacy it might have had take place, and let the people.
What do you think?
I think it's close at hand too.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know what close means though, because I mean, even 5 years could be defined as close. So I don't know what close means, but I hope so.
I'm hoping this month.
This month? Oh my God.
This month, starting next month, transitional government. This month, massive strikes. This month meaning
how likely?
Okay, not this month. My mistake, because we're at the end of July. I'm talking August. I'm talking massive strikes in August, campaign bombing finished in August. By August, September, you start taking the shore, releasing oil, taking Karg Island, releasing that oil into the supply, and declaring a transitional government. I have a week or two to choose the body to best represented. Now that the people are allowed to speak, they keep screaming Javid Cha, so we're going to bring in Nufti. Nufti come in here. We have these plans. What do you think? How do we deal with this? We have some Artesh here. Tell us anybody that's contacted you that you want on. Like, this would be where I would go with it.
And so that's your hope. What do you think probably will happen? Like, give me a time. What do you think will? I mean, maybe
that's what I think will happen.
Really?
Yes.
So
that's what okay. Do you want me to put it at a percentage?
Just give me a time and a percentage. Like, in this month, in this many months, regime will fall. By next month, regime will fall. That's your guess.
No, that's okay. We declare, like, by next month, massive increase in target type.
Okay. So give me a time for
hard campaign, entry into the islands, release of oil. That's all next month. The month after that would be transitional government time. I'm not saying the regime will fall, because that's very ambiguous charter language.
So let's. Would you be okay if defining the government in exile when Princess of Pahlavi is not in Iran, and transitional government when Prince Reza Pahlavi is inside Iran? Are those the correct definitions in your opinion?
I think transitional government and government in exile is basically the same thing. Like the only difference is where they are physically, but that's not. It doesn't change the legal power.
Okay, let's make it easier. When do you think Pahlavi, Prince Reza Pahlavi, would enter Iran?
That would probably be 2 months.
2 months. And what? Give me a percentage. Give me a percentage.
70.
70. Okay.
That's the most positive I can be is 70. And on some of it, I'm 60. Like that might be 65. Because you really want to make sure you clear the path so that no harm comes to him. I would put at a higher percentage that his delegates would start coming in.
Okay. By in 12 months from now, what are the chances that Prince Reza Pahlavi is inside Iran 12 months from now?
Well, I don't know, 99. I don't see this.
Okay.
Like, I would have to think Trump has been worm-tongued or subverted by JD Vance to think he's gonna. The 30% could increase to 40, right? Because my problem, the only problem here I have is JD Pence. That's the problem. Because there's no one else in the cabinet that's going against it. If you didn't have JD Vance there, if JD Pence was not in the cabinet, who else is going against this? I think it's him. I think it's the people around him. I think it's not Marco Rubio. It's not Scott Bessent. It's not. I don't think it's It's Vance and his negotiating team, and some of them might have been picked by Trump. It may be his son-in-law or whatever. But I would say Vance and his team are the greatest blocker. And what changes my percentage up and down is how much influence they have.
Okay. All right. I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. And we're going to have to leave it up here because we're getting close to, oh my God, I don't have the stuff that I'm supposed to have on ready at the end of the show. So guys, we're going to go to our group call in our discussion group pretty soon. And I'm supposed to have the links to it ready. But Monkey, are you going to be in our group call?
Yes, I have to go eat, but I might join a little late, but I'll join.
Okay, so guys, that will be in about an hour from now. And the link is in the description. The link is in the QR code at the top left corner of your screen. The link is also on Liberty Politics. I'll be there. Monkey will come a little bit later. And so if you're not going to be in our group call, in our discussion group, you could just watch it on Liberty Politics. We'll live stream all our group calls. Well, not all of them. The ones that I'm in gets live streams on Liberty Politics YouTube channel. And so make sure you're subscribed to Liberty Politics. Also, please subscribe to Monkey's channel. I'll put the link to Monkey's channel in the chat as well.
Yes.
And yes,
I'm gonna be listening to you guys in the chat, and I'm gonna hear you out, and you leave some comments, and I'm gonna read them. I know it's not supposed to get me down that the last stretch to 1,000 is a little rough, but you know what? I'm seeing 2 or 3 a day, so I'm gonna promise you guys. You come over, you talk to me. We're gonna talk. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna listen to you. We're gonna find a way to make sure that you guys are getting the content you want. So just leave a comment, tell me what you guys want, and we're gonna work it out.
Yes. And again, one more time, the link to Liberty Politics discussion group is in the chat as well. Come join our discussion group and participate in our daily group calls. We have group calls every day, and we talk about these topics that you see us talk about here and a lot more. So I'll see you guys in 1 hour in our discussion group. And until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukraini, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Javid Shah, Payende Iran. See you guys soon.
Peace.